Exciting, thrilling, awesome. Let's take a look.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talkin Mets with Rob. How is everybody doing? I do apologize for the little bit of confusion here. Stupid background wasn't working. There we go, guys. So everybody, welcome to another Mets game live right here on the channel. Hopefully everybody is doing good. And if you're in New York, staying a little cool because it's a little sticky out here in New York today. So welcome. Mets are going to be facing the Padres in a rubber game. We got Max Scherzer on the mound with Joe Musgrove for the Padres right before the All-Star game. Today is game number 90 of the season. What does that mean? That means the New York Mets have 72 more games to go. And this is probably, I would consider the biggest, at this point, the biggest game of the year. The Mets need this game just as much as the Padres need this game. I think taking this game for either team going into the All-Star break is going to help them jumpstart a possible run for a playoff spot. And that's just my opinion. Again, everybody has their own opinions and thoughts about that. But the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres put themselves in a huge hole this year, and now they have to find a way to come out of it, or it's going to be a very boring and wasteful couple of months during the summer, and that's not going to be fun for either fan base. Whoever doesn't probably prevail, and I said this earlier in the first game of the series during the pregame show. Whoever takes 2 out of 3 in this series, I think, is going to be off at the races when it comes to going for a playoff spot. Whoever loses 2 out of 3, it's going to be very difficult to have them go on this run, in just my opinion. But again, crazier things have happened. But I do think this game today will determine who jumps over the other team. And again, that can change in a 2-day span after the All-Star break. But you rather go out of this, and the Phillies are losing at this point. If they do lose, one of these teams are going to be 5.5 games out of a wild card spot with 72 games to go during the All-Star break. And let's be honest, guys, we all know there's no secret. The New York Mets are the oldest team in baseball. These couple of days off, technically like 4 days, is going to help the majority of this team. Our closer in David Robinson, right? Obviously Scherzer, obviously Verlander. And obviously it's going to help Senga. Even though Senga has made the All-Star team, it's going to help Senga as well. It's going to help a lot of these players. All these guys, it can help McNeil, recalibrate basically and figure out how the hell is he the batting champion when he's batting like 250. We can see if Marte, that rest can help him out. But that's all yet to be determined. But it all comes down to today. 4:10, Musgrove, Scherzer on the mound. Both teams need this game desperately. And unfortunately for the Mets were about a few feet away from tying that ball game yesterday in the ninth, where Francisco Alvarez just missed a home run that just went foul. Unfortunately for the Mets, they didn't really provide much offense at all yesterday. But, I mean, seriously, Blake Snell is on another level lately, and he was just absolutely dominant. But David Peterson kept his team in the ball game, and they gave him an opportunity at the end of the game to possibly come back in this ball game. And that's all you can ask for him, your 4th or 5th starter at this point. And Peterson, except for 1 inning, pitched very well. That 1 inning got away from him, and it messed up his entire game. 3 runs from Peterson, I think a lot of people would have took that, to be honest with you, the way he's pitched, throughout the year. And unfortunately for the Mets, they didn't get that offense that they were hoping for. Again, if they score their average runs per game during the season, they win this game 4-3 or 5-3. That's basically, baseball in a nutshell, and the Mets in 2023. But, man, do we need this game. And it is so important to do so. And I do hope that the Mets come out and look, both teams they need to show some signs of, and I think the Mets have shown signs of a desperate team, and I don't think there's any shock to that. They need to play, and I know the lineup is a little, it's a Sunday lineup. Let's be honest. Even though the All-Star break is today, you got the DJ Stewarts of the world, you got the Luis Guillormes of the world, and I'm gonna put that lineup up. Excuse me, in just a second. I apologize. It's scrolling on the bottom of your screen, but we're going to go over it right now. Just give me 1 second, but you can check it out at the bottom of your screen, but I'm going to tell you it right now. So obviously the pitching matchup is Max Scherzer against Joe Musgrove. The Mets will have Brendan Nimmo leading off. Sorry, of course, my thing. Brendan Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Tommy Pham playing left field, batting second. Francisco Lindor batting third, playing shortstop. Pete Alonso cleaning up, playing first base. Jeff McNeil batting fifth, playing right field. DJ Stewart DH and batting sixth. Francisco Alvarez catching and batting seventh. Brett Beatty batting eighth and playing third. And Luis Guillorme playing second base and batting ninth. Very different schedule. It's a typical Mets and Buck Sunday schedule, Sunday lineup. It's, again, nowadays, I don't even know anymore. It comes down to the fact that, Marte is not hitting, so I could see why you're not playing him. He's just been completely lost at the plate. It seems like he's not getting the certain balls in the outfield. So now you get the McNeils in right field, You're going to have Tommy Pham in left and obviously Nimmo in center. A little bit of a different outfield. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. A different outfield for the last game before the All-Star break. You need a second baseman since McNeil's in the outfield, so you're going to throw Luis Guillorme over there. And DJ Stewart's getting the DH spot, which I kind of like him getting that DH spot. I'd rather see him than Vogelback. So we'll see how that goes. But it's going to come down to the pitching. If Max Scherzer pitches to what we hope he can do, again, if you look at his ERA over the last month and his wins and his record, he's pitched better. I know he gave up 4 runs against the Diamondbacks, but it was mostly home runs. And that's if he lowers that a little bit, I think he'll pitch good. It's just a matter of when the Mets give him a lead, or if they give him a lead, can he hold it? That's been a big problem for him throughout the season. Throughout the season, and I do think that the New York Mets gotta hit Musgrove. Musgrove is having an okay season. Remember, he started the year when the Mets faced him in the Padres at Citi Field. He was still on the IL. So I just want to check what's his numbers. Musgrove has a 3.56 ERA, so pretty good season, to be honest. Obviously, he started the year on the IL. I think it was a fractured finger or something like that. He's a 7-2 record, 13 games, 3.56 ERA, 72 strikeouts with a 1.20 WHIP in 73 and a third inning. So he's having a pretty good year. We all know what happened in the third game of the wild card series. Obviously, there was a big story about the possibility of Joe Musgrove cheating, having something on his ear that was extremely shiny. To be honest with you, Chris Bassett, was throwing bad in practice anyway. So even if the Mets put up some offense, I don't think it was going to be enough anyway to beat the Padres in that wild card series. And the Padres outpitched the Mets, Ed. That was the series right there. I'm sorry I keep on yawning, but I'm going on no sleep for a while. So I apologize for that. But we got about 10 minutes until game time. So get your thoughts, opinions, and questions. I'm going to look at the comments really quick. And please don't hit please hit on that like button. I'm sorry, guys. I'm extremely tired, but I wanted to bring this game to you guys and hang out with you guys before the All-Star break, because tonight I'm thinking about doing the Shea Bridge show, but probably not. It's again trying to get some sleep here in the process. Tomorrow is the Home Run Derby, so I'll see if I'll do a show, the Mets Roundtable podcast. We'll see if we can do it a little earlier than the Home Run Derby at 8:00 or something like that. But I will keep you posted on that, and just keep on checking your notifications. And remember, click on that notification bell when you subscribe, so you get notified when I put up a post or put up a video or put up a live stream that will be available to you during either later tonight or tomorrow, so you guys have an idea of when the show is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, Mullen. Absolutely. Again, listen, honestly, the Mets played, even game 1, both teams deserve to lose. And even yesterday, right? It didn't seem like a crisp game for either team. Even David Peterson, right? Blake Snell was dominant against the Mets, but even Peterson basically kept the Mets in a ball game against a very good lineup in the Padres. So it's a very odd season for both teams. They both should be a lot better, but they're not. They can't get it out of their own way. The Padres haven't won an extra inning game this year. They're 0-8, which is insane. I mean, even Oakland A's have a couple of wins in extra innings, and the Padres don't. You can't make it up, And the Mets pitching staff has been in shambles basically the entire year. They're showing the ERA over this road trip. They're 4-1 with a 2.40 team ERA. So that just shows you that the bullpen has been a little bit better. The starting pitching has been a little bit better. The last time through the rotation, everybody pitched, good at the very least. Nobody pitched terribly where you'd be like, oh my God, get this guy out of the rotation. Carrasco shockingly in Arizona to sweep the Diamondbacks, pitched 8 innings. They're showing a stat, 10 straight starts without a loss for Max Scherzer. He's 6-0 with a 3.45 ERA over that span. Again, that's not a great ERA over that stretch, but I mean, considering what he did in April and May, that's actually pretty good because considering over that stretch, he was probably around the 5 ERA, so we got that down to full run and a half. But listen, in Scherzer's case, in our case, you want him to go at least 6 innings and try to limit the damage to 3 runs or less. I think if you do that, I think the Mets can win a ball game here, and we'll see. Again, this hasn't been a crisp series. Yesterday the Padres got some clutch hits, but then again, yesterday you saw a couple of errors. Or, they weren't called errors, but a couple of plays of Lindor that usually he's sure-handed on. And, I wouldn't say it cost the Mets, but, for a guy who, prides himself in defense, which he's human, errors happen, mistakes happen. But it is kind of interesting that he, had a couple of mishaps on the field and the Mets lost the ball game. It seems like it goes hand in hand with that. And, the Padres – in the first game, running themselves out of an inning and their base running mistakes. And, it basically helped that Mets, propel to that 6th straight win. And that's where this series is. Again, nobody's playing crisp. Nobody's playing great. Nothing, like I said, they got good pitching yesterday, but the Padres offense really didn't show up much, right? In game 1, the pitching wasn't very good. It was okay, not great. And, there was mishaps on both sides, and both teams deserved to lose. And I said that during that live stream in game 1. So, yeah, explosive, exactly. Like I said, right? I didn't go crazy about yesterday's loss. I know some people did. I mean, you go on a 6-game losing streak. You win 6 out of your last 7 games. You win 6 out of your last 7 games. And if you win today, you win 7 out of 8 going into the All-Star break. I mean, if somebody would have told you prior to this stretch, the Mets would go 7-1 and 8, you'll take that, every day of the week, especially the way they've been playing. And on top of that, just think if the Mets would have won yesterday, and I think the Phillies are about to lose. If the Mets would have won yesterday, they could begin going into this game today. If they win, they could have been 4.5 games out of the wildcard spot at the All-Star break. And that's like the prime spot with 72 games to go, because that's striking distance. And even, today, if the Mets do win, you get to 5.5, that's striking distance as well. You come out of the break playing the Dodgers, but you're playing a couple of weak teams after that. And again, the Mets shown ways to lose against bad teams. Maybe that is turning around. Maybe they'll actually beat bad teams since they've been playing better overall since basically July 1st. So we'll see. Explosive. We'll see. Again, I don't think. I know I said earlier in the show that I think whoever loses 2 out of 3 is going to have a hard time, over the next 72 games. But even the team that takes 2 out of 3, it doesn't propel them to go on a major run here. But it's not the end of the world for either team if they lose today, because they don't lose no ground, even though one of them are going to gain ground. And that's unfortunate for both teams, if they lose, but they don't lose, right? The Phillies lost 2 games in a row. And that actually helps the Padres and the Mets, but it takes another game off the schedule if you're the Philadelphia Phillies, right? That's how baseball works. That's how the game's back works, unfortunately for the Mets. But you win today, you're going to be 5.5 games out of a wild card spot. And again, I'd rather have a team that is in our division leading that third wild card spot, because I do believe the Mets play the Phillies 6 more times this year. And I believe at the end of the year, we face the Phillies, the final games of the season. I think it's the Marlins and the Phillies. I don't think the Marlins are going to matter too much. I think they're going to hold on to that wild card spot. But let me just check really quick. Yeah. So the final 6 games of this wow, look at this. 3, 7, 10. The final 13 games of the season are all against Miami and Philadelphia. Get within striking distance of obviously Philadelphia And, if you get a little bit closer to Miami, which it doesn't seem likely, but you never know. If you tip your cap if the Marlins play the rest of the year the way they've been playing, you tip your cap and you figure out to get a third wild card spot. But you got all those games, and I'm a liar. We got 7 games left against the Phillies. 7. 4 on the road, 3 the last game of this. And I'm telling you this right now. Why do I have a very interesting feeling that 3-game series at home, the September 29th, 30th, and October 1st, might actually be for a playoff spot? And how insane would that be, right? I mean, that's all you can ask for a team that has been extremely disappointing this year. You don't want it to be that situation. You'd rather just have a wild card spot on the playoff spot locked in. But the way they started and the way they played the majority of the year and the terrible June that they have, if they have the final 3 games of the season that will determine a playoff spot, I think you take it with a grain of salt and just, throw out expectations that you had prior to the season, because those go out the window the first 3 months of the season the way they played. So I think you just have to take it for what it's worth. And again, we've seen it over the last couple of years. All you got to do is get in the playoffs and get hot at the right time. And that series can get one of these teams hot at the right time. And you just never know. Again, the Mets over the last 8 days jumped over 3 teams. And then neck and neck now with the Padres. They win today. They jump over them again. So technically it's 4 teams they jumped over within a week. So the game is about to start. I'm going to start up game day for everybody. So don't forget to please hit on that like button. Let's get more people in the stream on this Sunday, July 9th, last game before the All-Star break. And 72 games left after today. So that is, we're getting to the end very quickly, guys, and it's gonna happen very quickly. It's either gonna be a fun rest of the summer, or it's gonna be a very, very disappointing and boring rest of the summer if the Mets don't find a way to win this game and go on this run that they need to go. So with that said, the Mets will be coming up very, very shortly. The game should be starting in 1 minute. Let me set up game day for you guys. There you go. Let me just put it in the proper viewing for you guys. There you go. And I'm going to put up the volume. Let me know in the comments if you can hear it. All right. Here we go, guys. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you can hear it. All right, guys, listen to the game. I'll be right back.
Joe's had a strange season. He's had a lot of crazy injuries, starting with breaking his skull by dropping weight. He also rolled over his shoulder trying to field a ground ball, and then burnt the bottom of his feet because he was trying grafting on the AstroTurf, and the AstroTurf was just a little too hot.
He needs to get lessons from Adam Ottavino, who is the world's greatest expert in grounding on baseball.
Interesting chances. And here you go. Those, men and women will not move unless told to or ordered to.
Very big.
They do have their Dennis D'Agostino in this booth. The defense is brought to you by Shop Right. Gary Sanchez. They came after a night game. Machado, Bogarts, Hassan Kim has gotten back in there. They've removed all of the Gatorade buckets out of the dugout. Soto, Grisham, and Tatis Jr. I mean, when I read this lineup, it's almost like reading an all-star lineup. But they have played like all-stars so far.
The only one of those who's going to the All-Star game is Juan Soto. Well, the last time the Mets saw Musgrove, he pitched the greatest game of his career, even better than his no-hitter 2 years ago. That was the first in Padres history. Allowed 1 hit over 7 scoreless innings. He only hit 40 lots of single in the 5th. Showalter went out late that game to argue that Musgrove was using sticky substances. The umpires checked it, including his shiny ears. They cleared him. And the Padres went on to win the game and the series and eventually advanced to the National League Championship Series.
What to look for: cutters, fastballs. He has incorporated a real good change against the left-handed hitters.
Brandon Nimmo is in a bit of a skid going into the All-Star break. Just one for his last 18. And Musgrove throws first pitch in for a strike and we're underway. First pitch cutter. You can see a lot of that. Nimmo was all about first pitches and most of them are fastballs. And Musgrove comes right back to breaking ball, gets a swinging strike, and it's 0-2. Nimmo then Van Lindor for the Mets. Padres pitching staff has given up fewer hits than any other staff in the National League. And Musgrove Nimmo striking out on cover 2 curveballs. And that's the first out of the day.
He made it look easy, got ahead, and just snapped on that curveball.
So 1 out and nobody on that Tony Fan. And his numbers are taking a hit on this road trip. That's 3 for 22 in the 5 games. And the first pitch curveball to him. Nothing at 1. Musgrove last year, 30 starts, first All-Star game, 10-7, 2.93, and then that gem against the Mets. And he went on to win a couple of games in the postseason. And then, as Ronnie mentioned, at the start of this season, curtailed when he dropped a weight on his foot in late February. Didn't make his first start until April the 22nd. That's lined in the right center field, and coming up with Grisham again. Tigers fan, 2 out.
We've really seen some outstanding defensive play by the Padres outfielders. And another one by Grisham who's got all the goals.
Top goal lover in center field. The Padres are an outstanding defensive team. They're 6th in the major leagues in defensive runs saved. They're at plus 20, whereas the Mets are at minus 11. Here's Francisco Lindor. Lindor, over the last 3 games, 9 hits and 14 at-bats. That's against Josh Hader. And that's what he said yesterday. It's only 3 hits in that game after accumulating 30 in their previous 2 games. Lindor's got a couple of home runs on his ledger against Musgrove, and he fouls off the cutter, and it's 0-2. Go back to the last 19 games now for Lindor. He's got an 11.71 OPS, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs in those 19 games. Musgrove's gone out throwing nothing but strikes, 8 in a row to start the game. And he strikes out.
And Musgrove has a 1-2-3 inning. Very impressive 1-2-3 inning, striking out Lindor and Nimmo, and of course the catch by Grissom in center field, right center field to end the first inning. So the bottom of the first is coming up. No score in the first inning. So again, you see Nimmo's going through a slump. Probably over the last, I would say, week. Even during this Mets winning streak, Nimmo really hasn't done a lot during that stretch. But again, Nimmo basically carried this offense basically the first 2.5 months of the season. So, he's allowed to have a slump. Unfortunately, it's right now, but, obviously Nimmo's one of the spark plugs to this team. Nimmo's going, usually the top of the order is going. And the way Lindor has been playing, we need Alonso to pick it up a little bit, but we'll see. So let's see if Max Scherzer can replicate what Joe Musgrove does and put 0 on the board and get the offense back out there. This is a big start for Scherzer. Let's be honest. I know he's pitched better over the last about 6-7 starts now. He's been a lot better than what he was in April and May and parts of June. Yeah. I mean, we need him to pitch well. Like I says, you're getting paid the big bucks here. I know that's just a cliche, and we keep on saying that, but it's true, right? Every big game that, over the last 3 or 4 big starts that he's pitched, he's failed, right? And the 2 biggest ones were last year, and I think one of these, it's not division do or die like it was last year at the end of the year, But this game's very important. You want to win this game, get 7 out of 8 before the All-Star break. It puts you 5.5 back of a wild card spot. You jump over the Padres is huge. So I want to see very good Scherzer today. We need Scherzer to be on today. Let's see what he does.
3 in this series. The one was a double that he tried to stretch into a trouble with ill results.
1 pitch. 1 out. Nice play. Oh. Saying it touched the screen. Well, they're allowed to check it, so they're checking it. So the umpire said DJ Rayburn says that it hit the net before it came down. It is a crew chief review. I mean, the umpire was there, so he was in position. So crew chief review. Let's see if they give I don't know how they're gonna overturn this, but we'll see. That would be nice to get 1 pitch, 1 out there.
When you go up against the fence, right? Is that you push on that netting. Once you push on that netting, it moves. And maybe that's what DJ Rayburn saw, was the moving of the net as he pushed it before the ball came down and nestled in the glove of Beatty.
Well, there's another piece to that, too, that when you push the netting, sometimes it snaps back, reverberates, and that might have caused the ball to hit the netting, where it might not otherwise not have.
But if it hits the netting, it hits the netting. So we'll see.
I don't know how they're going to overturn this, to be honest with you. I mean, you need a vantage point up above to see that, but we'll see. 1 pitch for Scherzer, and now it's a crew chief review to see if it's an out. That would be a nice out call, 1 pitch, 1 out. That would be nice, but got a little delay, guys. It's going to be very hard to overturn that.
This is one that, they can look at it again, but I don't know if they're going to be able to parse anything.
Does it seem like a good call to go to the replay on the first pitch?
Well, again, I think this is a crew chief review.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was the Mets were.
Let's see. Come on. Pretty lengthy review here.
Max is throwing some warm-up pitches now to stay sharp. Already mentioned his outstanding start against the Padres back in April. 5 scoreless innings. Let's see.
Yeah, no catch. I don't see how they were going to overturn that. No, NYG it's not a Mets challenge. Buck asked for a crew chief review, and he gave it to him. So they don't lose the challenge. This wasn't a Buck challenge.
So it's 0-1 to Kim. And Max misses with the changeup down. It's 1-1. Kim, then Soto and Tatis for the Padres in the first. That's the Padres coming into the day with the same record at 42 at 47, with 6.5 games out in the wild card as play began today.
Both in 4th place, their respective divisions.
Of course, that's going to happen. Leadoff hit for the Padres. Yeah, Mullen, I think that's wrong because I don't think they challenged. Because it said it was a crew chief review. So, I don't know. I guess we'll find out if we have to challenge something later. Oh, Pham got hurt. Uh-oh. He's walking off the field, so that's not good. Yeah, it looks like a groin. Oh, Tommy Phane's coming out of the game. So Pham is coming out of the game. He grabbed his groin, so that's not good. So the Mets are already going to their bench in the first inning. Yeah, that's not somebody you want to lose as hot as he did. So Mark Hanna's coming out to play left field, and now he's not on number 2 hitter now. All right, well. What's up, Padres? Got the leadoff man on.
Scherzer just trying to get his feet wet this game. One more pitches that he has accurate pitches.
All right, come on, Max. Let's go.
Here's Juan Soto, who had a 23-game on-base streak, stopped last night when he went over 4. Came at first and nobody out. And Soto attacking a first pitch fastball. I haven't seen that very often. Snatch of his teammates. Head-to-head, they only have 4 at-bats in between them. Soto 1 for 4 against Scherzer.
Popped it up. Cannon's coming in, and he sees it. 1 out. Oof. Of course, the ball would find Canna cold. Of course.
So 1 out of 1 on now for Tatis. 2 for 9 in this series. And slide off the plate for ball 1. Max, of course, started the first game of the wild card series against the Padres last October. It did not go well. Gave up 7 runs in 4 2/3, 4 home runs against him in that game. Which culminated a probably depressing end of the season for Scherzer, coupled with his start against the Braves the final weekend of the regular season.
That was kind of the theme for all those pitchers their last 2 starts.
Steven, it is pretty cool. Yeah, explosive. I don't like the delay, but we'll see if it hurts him. The dangerous toss. Ooh, nice curveball. Again, I mean, the difference with the slider and curveball from Max Scherzer. He's taken a little bit off both those pitches, and it's made all the difference in the world.
1 for 14 in his career against Scherzer. That one was a home run. Made a good job of waiting on a day.
And that's a shot, and that ball is gone. Oh, off the wall. Wow. So that's second and. All right, so that's a double for Tatis. Second and third, 1 out. It looked like it was a high fastball that he got on top of. I don't know if it was more down in the zone. Let's see. It was letter high. I mean, it wasn't a terrible pitch, but he connected on that ball. All right, well, start him already. Try to get out of it here. Another nice curveball. So Scherzer got a wicked curveball going there that got the guys off balance. So far, they're hitting his fastball. He's just not locating that fastball right now. Nice fastball.
Boy, that was a good pitch there. Curveball away. Machado maybe thinking Scherzer's going to throw the same pitch and dotted him on the inside corner.
Xander Bogaerts waiting on deck. Scherzer needing a strikeout. They had 1 and 2 on Machado. He goes away with the
Come on, Max.
Attacking Machado right here. And sometimes on a 2-2 pitch, okay, if I miss with this pitch, he doesn't swing. What am I coming back with?
Oh, he hung that slider. Well, 3-0 Padres. Not what you wanted in the first inning. That's a hanger. Can't hang that pitch. He was waiting for that. Not what you wanted to see. Wow. Well, that slider has hurt him all year, and he hung it. Just a helicopter. Oof. That was on the tee. That slider all year has been giving up a ton of home runs. Mm. Home runs have been the problem this year for Scherzer, even when he's pitched well. Surprised he didn't go back to that curveball that he had, that he looked good with. He went back to that slider. Yeah, that curveball, they're a little off right now. And he strikes out Bogarts, 2 outs. Well, easy. That's been his biggest problem. If you look at his even when he was struggling early on in the season, the first month and a half, it wasn't exactly like getting hit all over the yard, like like a lot of base hits. It's the home run ball, and that's been his big problem this year. I mean, if he would cut down on the home runs, he would be pitching great. But unfortunately, home runs killed him this year, and it still has. It did in Arizona. It did in Arizona, and it hurt him today in the first. And it is crazy to stat, right? He gave up 7 home runs in his last 7, a home run in his last 7, at least 1 home run in 7 starts in a row. And that's when he's went 7 innings and 6 innings and 8 innings. So. Well, Scherzer's got to bear down now and keep it to 3. That's basically it at this point. Give your offense a chance to come back. And he walks Cronenworth. Already 24 pitches in the first. Not what you wanted. Well, you got a lot of bullpen available today, considering you got the next 4 days off. Well, Marco, the money line is probably going to be very high on the Padres at this point, winning 3-0. So. Committee, I mean, that's the problem. I mean, he's pitched okay, not great. So I don't know. I mean, why pay the money if you're not going to get a top 10 prospect? There's no point in trading them then. No, easy, but again, that 4 ERA was because of earlier in the season, right? When he had nearly a 6 ERA. It came down almost a full run and a half. So, it's very hard to get your ERA down a lot more where it should be when you started so bad. So. Marco, I'm going to go over 7.5. and kind of makes the catch to end the inning, but not before a Manny Machado 3-run homer on a hanging slider in the first inning. 29 pitches in the first inning for Max Scherzer. Something that, again, this is a situation here is if he keeps him to 3 runs, I mean, you could see Scherzer going 100 pitches, a little bit more, since he's going to be off for about 4 or 5 days now. So, all right, Mo, have a good day. So that's where we are at this point. So see if the offense can get some runs here and try to put some bat to ball on the put the bat on the ball against Joe Musgrove, who looked very good in the first inning. And Mets got to come back in a ball game. Let's see if the offense can show up. They showed up in the first game. Yeah, explosive. Marco, I appreciate it, buddy. So, yeah, guys, 3-0 in the first inning. No, easy. I agree. But it's not sugar-coated. It's a fact, right? If you have a 6 ERA in the first month and a half of the season, the more innings you pitch, the harder it is to get your ERA down, right? I mean, you have to be basically spotless to get it back under a 4. It's just a fact. It's just simple math. I mean, he's pitched better over the last month and a half. Like that's a fact. Not exactly Max Scherzer you want. He needs to be, $43 million Max Scherzer. But, I mean, at this point, you can't expect that anymore, unfortunately, for us. You just hope that, he shows it every now and then. That's basically what you can hope for. But at this point, this is what you need right now. You need him to hold it to 3 runs. That's just very simple, right? This offense is good enough to score 4 runs. You got to do it. Yesterday the offense did nothing. Like I said, Peterson pitched for besides 1 inning. If somebody said he'll give you what he gave us 5 innings yesterday, 6 innings yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. I mean, him only giving up 3 runs. Oh, easy. I agree. It's not what you want from Scherzer at all. Ooh, 9.5. I'll go under. It is, but let's not act like Musgrove is, an ace here. Like, he's a good pitcher, but, you can hit him. Let's go. It's a pop-up. And that's 1 out. Pete Alonso. I mean, the Mets went on a 6-game winning streak without Pete Alonso basically doing anything. I mean, look, it's Pete Alonso struggling right now. Brandon Nimmo struggling right now. Jeff McNeil has been struggling basically the entire year. I mean, the batting champion last year is batting .252 with only 3 home runs and 26 RBIs. This guy needs to bat 300. He provides no power, and he's not a run producer. So. Come on, Jeff. All right. That's a 1-out hit for Jeff McNeil. I agree, man. I think Beatty, I don't think Beatty has shown enough. I mean, this guy, was raking in AAA. I'm not saying you got to bat 350 here, but you can't bat, what is he batting, 230 something? His home runs are basically non-existent, and that's very frustrating for me. All right, here is DJ Stewart. A lot of home runs in AAA, 26.
They ended up blowing Columbia out. They scored 10 touchdowns. What? Yeah, they were up 63 to nothing. They scored the 10th touchdown, and the place kicker misses the extra point. And all the Rutgers fans booed. They booed. It was 69 to nothing. They were winning, and they booed the place kicker for missing the extra point. That's what that reminded me of after Westbrook and the 14 straight scores.
How did they ground? They won the over.
I don't know, baby. DJ Stewart making his first start as a Met, de-aging today. Spent parts of 5 years in Baltimore.
There you go. Stewart got a good eye at the plate. A little bit of a husky guy. He does have power. Doesn't hit a lot for average. Machado home run. Yeah, that's a base hit for DJ Stewart. 2 hits in a row for the Mets. Bottom of the order coming through right now. Here we go. Francisco Alvarez coming up. Let's try to cut this lead up a little bit. Nice piece of hitting. High fastball.
So now Alvarez, who has taken Western time zone by storm. 10 for 20 on the
Francisco.
4 home runs and 8 driven in. He had a home run for the only Met run last night. And he takes first pitch.
All right, Francisco's got to stay. I don't worry about Francisco very much. I think he'll stay within himself, probably trying not to do too much. Ground ball. This might be a double play. And it is. Shit. Damn it. Not what you wanted there. And the Mets get out of the inning. Padres get out of the inning on a 6-4-3 double play. Not what you wanted there, but can't kill the kid. The kid's been basically the offense for a while. This guy has been clutch as hell, but not in that spot. So, bottom of the second coming up. 3-0 Padres. Ryan, I agree. Well, they're not trading them. That comment's not worth anything. You're not trading Pete Alonso. It's just not. He's going through it right now. I believe he's actually he came back too early from that wrist injury. That's just me. Again, even if you're not feeling pain, sometimes you kind of probably favoring it a little bit, But again, he's playing, so no excuse, right? He's got to be better. You can't bat 210. That's what he's batting. You can't do that. All right. You basically, Kyle Schwarber if you're going to be batting 210 and knocking in 45 home runs. Like, again, I'm still very big on average. I always have been. I think having an average if you bat 210, I don't consider you a good player. I think your average has to, even if you don't have a high average, I think if you're going to hit 40-plus home runs and knocking 100 RBIs, can you give me at least a 260 average, showing that you can actually bat the ball other than hitting the ball over the wall? That's just me. I wouldn't say he's broken. He's just going through it right now. His swing is all discombobulated. You can see he's stepping in the bucket. We talked a lot about that. Left-handed for Lindor, basically the entire year except for the last month. He's stepping in the bucket. He's reaching for everything. His timing is off. That you could see it, right? And when you're struggling, you press it, and that's exactly what Pete's doing there. So the Mets are trailing 3-0 in the bottom of the second coming up, and that was Bogarts made a nice play. He got it on the short hop. If that ball would have stayed down, that ball would have he would have missed it. But they do get the 6-4-3 double play. See if Scherzer can keep it to 3 here in the bottom of the second. 3-0 Padres.
My feeling is that if you're sliding in, don't let the bag impede you. Slide right over the top of the bag while you continue to hold the bag, which will take his legs out from under.
So in other words, make sure
a slide where your legs are put through the bag, it doesn't get stopped by the bag, and it goes right through. Max got something wrong with his pitch count.
All right, so another delay. Pitch com.
The keypad that he keeps on his glove. We see players have difficulty with the earpiece that goes in their hat. This is the other problem.
You mid? I would too.
So he's not that smooth sound.
Ryan, I tell you, people destroyed Lindor, but he's either number 1 and 2 in stats in all shortstops in baseball, right? His OPS that everybody was bitching and moaning about, he got that over 800, right? I mean, the average still got to come up, but in over 2 weeks, he had a under 220 average, and he already has it up to 235. You know, again, if he can creep it up to 245, 250, again, that's not wonderful, but he hit 30 and 100 and bat 250. That's a pretty damn good year for a shortstop, and he'll have better numbers than all the shortstops in almost all the shortstops in baseball. So, I think the least of our worries is Lindor.
Tampa Bay, which is feeling the heat of the Orioles bearing down on them, is 2 games behind. It's now the 7-game losing streak. So go for this 3-2.
Well, the Braves, their entire team had to figure out how to get to Seattle.
So maybe they were mentally playing early.
All right, so he strikes out Odor, 1 out.
And that's the first out, the second strikeout.
The Braves go. And as you said earlier, Gary, the first inning seems to be the best pitch, the best feel so far for Max.
Yeah, I mean that's all of a sudden the all of a sudden the people that never care about average anymore, that's first pitch swing in, pop up. Luis Guillorme should have it and does 2 outs. It's funny how the analytical people all of a sudden they start talking about average when it's convenient for them to talk about a player badly. Well, Ryan, you can understand that because of the fact that they had a lot of pitching injuries this year, but they do have 6 guys that are starting in the All-Star game. So, the Marlins beat the Phillies. Phillies took 2 out of 3 against the Marlins took 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. Whoever wins this game is going to gain a game in the wild card standings against the Phillies.
Scherzer. Takes fastball for a strike. Turn that double play watching Tom in the game. He hasn't really found a home at second base. He did a good job at shortstop with him last year.
All right, struck out Kim to end the inning, so that's a better second inning for Scherzer. 3-0 Padres going to the top of the third. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. Thank you for tuning in to another Mets live stream right here on the channel. Mets Padres, game 90 of the season. That means 72 games to go for the New York Mets. And the last game before the All-Star break, I will be doing a live stream during the Home Run Derby for everybody who is interested in that. I got a lot of messages and for some reason I can't open my email, my YouTube email for some reason. I have a hard time reading it. I was just talking to Ken about this, that he's emailing me, but I can only see his email, see his the subject. I can't open it for some reason. So for some reason my YouTube email is kind of annoying right now, but the people who were able to text me and wondering if I was going to do got me on Twitter and Instagram and just regular text message about me doing the live stream during the home run derby. I will be doing it. A lot of people liked it last year when I did it, so I'll do it again tomorrow. I'm going to try to intertwine the Mets Roundtable podcast tomorrow. I believe the home run derby starts at 8. So I'll probably see if everybody, a couple of the guys are available to do it around 6 o'clock, going over this first half of the New York Mets and what are their predictions and what are their overall opinions about the first half of the season, and do they think the Mets have a run in them the final 72 games of the season. I think their opinion might change based on what they do today in today's game, but we'll see. I spoke to these guys every now and then, but it's been the holiday week and all that stuff, so everybody's doing their thing. So, but hopefully we can get some of them guys on tomorrow. Ryan, it is a tough break, but you know what? The Dodgers are leading the second wild card, so you can gain a couple of games on them if you beat them. I know that's a further away than the Phillies, but those are teams you're chasing. So Brett Beatty's leading off, 3-0 Padres, top of the third.
Very funny, very humble, and a lot of guys, on their start day, they want to be left alone, and he's not like that. He's very chill. Nothing changes for him at all. He's an open book, and his translator, Hero, who's pretty much by his side at all times, said he's never surprised by anything he says or does because he's the same guy to everybody all the time. And Sting is also very sarcastic. When I asked how he feels about being an all-star, he said he was surprised by the selection. And he said,
come on, Brett.
I was planning on staying back and working out during the break, so I'm super disappointed that I don't get to do that now. And then when, asked about the potential of facing Otani, he said with a huge smile, if I really have a choice, I prefer not to face him, actually. And by the way, his translator is a Seattle native, and to give him a hard time, to the media, through the translator himself, Sega said, yeah, I think my English is getting pretty good now, so I haven't decided if I'm going to bring Hero to the game. So he really does have a great sense of humor, and as people continue...
I love to see a little bit more power from Brett Beatty. I mean, his power basically is non-existent, and his average is slow, too. It's not exactly what I want to see from Beatty. And he strikes out, 1 out. Yeah, Ryan, that's why it's important to try to jump over the Padres here and win this ball game because, usually a 4-game series usually gets split, and that helps the Mets in that situation. So, Luis Guillorme up and 1 out. Bad at night today.
40 years since the Mets ever looking pitcher to the All-Star game since Talkin in 1984. The last one. Seaver did it, Kuzma did it, Don did it, but no pitcher has gone to an All-Star game in a rookie year. That's
Went to San Francisco.
Luis Guillorme was over 2 in this series.
I'm telling you, I'm very disappointed in Brett Beatty. Very disappointed. I mean, he basically has no power, and he's batting 235. Not happy with that at all.
That was one of the few years I watched the All-Star game because I wanted to see Dwight go out there and see him in his white shoes. Struck on, I think, all the hitters he faced.
Lance Parrish,
Yeah.
Shed Lemon.
Yes. I think that was great.
So the ball was foul tipped into Gary Sanchez's leg. So it's a little bit of umpires give him a little bit of a time to recuperate there.
There's a little more room when you're exposed to that foul tip. I played with Terry Steinbach in Oakland. By the end of the year, he was just one big black and blue everywhere.
Fouled it off.
He was a heck of a player.
Yeah, Ryan. Alvarez shown that he loves those moments.
He was a really good player.
2-2 coming.
And Guillorme strikes out. Mets are having a hard time with Musgrove's curveball. 2 outs. No, easy. I didn't say that. I'm just saying he's disappointing right now. Again, Here's the problem with this situation. Again, I always bring this up. It's not about sending him down. It's just that the Mets need Beatty to be better. If he's not, then yeah, he's learning on the move here at the big league level. That's great and all. But when you're counting on a young kid to come through for you and he's not, it's kind of a catch-22, right? Yeah, you want the kid to get experience, but you also need to win ball games here, and he's not providing anything right now. I'm telling you, this guy was hitting home run. Every highlight you've seen in the minor leagues, he was hitting a home run, right? Batting 350. And he's batting 235 with 5 home runs. Like, no, easy. I'm not saying it. See, you're not paying attention. You're just looking at it at the wrong side. The point of the matter is the Mets need Beatty to be better. You're trying to win ball games, yet you're trying to get this kid experience. One of them are probably not going to work out. It's just that simple. Nimmo hits one to left field. Should end the inning, and it does. So Mets go 1-2-3 in the top of the third. 3-0 Padres going to the bottom of the third. Yes, the draft is tonight. The Mets will have the last pick in the first round, 32nd overall. Again, last year for everybody who there was somebody on Twitter. I just don't get some people. People like to put stuff on Twitter without doing their homework. Was like, oh, I don't trust Epler in making a draft pick for this team. Yet the Mets had from multiple people who are in the know that the Mets had the number 1 overall draft class coming out of the draft last year with Parada and Williams with the 2 picks they had in the first round. Easy, I agree with you. But the point of the matter is you need to win ball games. You keep on saying that, but if Beatty is struggling, he's not helping this team. That is the problem. The point of the matter is if you're a team that doesn't care about the playoffs, yes, you can mess around with a guy that is you want to get experience and struggling right now, right? The Mets are doing that, right? They're playing Beatty every other day. Again, he was out the last 2 games because of the fact that he had a sore hamstring. So it wasn't that Buck did not want to play him. Beatty's playing every day, so let's not stop with these excuses. I'm sick and tired of excuses for these young kids. Oh, they don't get enough playing time. How about you fucking prove it? How about that? Right? I'm sorry, you're batting 350, and every other day you're hitting a home run in the minor leagues. You're batting basically 120 points less in your average, and you're basically non-existent in home runs. I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. I don't give a shit. You've been playing every day since when? May? Get it together. Like, you're playing every day. There's no more excuses for these kids. I'm sick and tired of these excuses. And the same people that want to win ball games also wants the kids to play. You can't have it both ways. You say, oh, well, I'd rather see a kid struggle than somebody else struggle. Yeah, that's probably true. But when you're trying to win ball games here, he's a liability right now, offensively. Defensively, he's fine. The Mets are lucky they don't have a decent veteran first baseman because Beatty should not be playing the way he's been playing. I'm sorry. The way I see it is that if you're the better player and you're playing better, you'll be playing. I can care less if you're a young player. You're trying to win ball games. You're not trying to baby these fucking kids. That's the way I see it. Bottom of the third, 3-0 Padres. Again, he's going to go through his struggles. I'm all on board with working him out through these struggles. He's a young kid. But you're trying to win ball games as well. And I'm not saying throw Guillorme out there every day. That is not the point. The point of the matter is the Mets don't have nobody else. So Beatty has to play. And that's 1 out. Kind of catches it in left field. Again, you can't complain about winning ball games and then wanting to play the kids. Listen, you want to play the kids, then don't complain about losses. Right? You come on here, you complain, oh, this team is not winning. This team is not winning. Well, do you care about winning or do you just care about playing the young kids? Because if that's the case, then in the beginning of the year, you should have said play the young kids and I don't care what happens this year. But you want to win ball games as well. You're a team set up to win, not just this. Well, OG, like I said, I'm not shocked that Beatty's struggling, right? He's shown glimpses of being the type of player that everybody expects him, right? It might take him a little bit longer. That's fine. But when you're trying to win ball games, it's not easy. I always bring it up easy because, again, you want to win ball games, but you complain that the Mets are losing, but it's okay because the Mets are playing the kids. It doesn't work like that. Don't complain about losing then. That's what you shouldn't do. But you come on here, oh, this game is over. Oh, this game is ridiculous. This team sucks. Well, you should have said that in game 1 of the season then if you didn't care about winning this year. That's the point I'm trying to make. And it's not a wrong point. Beatty is not helping his team right now. I'm sick and tired of, well, let's just play him because let's get him experience. You're trying to win a ball game here. You're trying to win and get to the playoffs. The Mets can't afford to let this kid continue to struggle. And again, Beatty's playing every day because the Mets don't have anything better. That's the only reason why he's still in this lineup. Let's be honest about that. Joe, how was Arizona? And he strikes out Tatis, 2 outs. Again, I'm all on board. Play the kids. Play them. But don't complain about losing them. If they're struggling, which they probably will, which is okay. I appreciate the struggle because the game is not easy. The next level, at the major league level, is not easy. I expect him to struggle. But he's also been a shell of himself. Right? Alvarez, who was getting less playing time than Brett Beatty, found a way to win the job and produce. Brett Beatty's got a lot more playing time than Alvarez did early on, and it hasn't been what we have been expected from Brett Beatty, right? And the inning should be a quick inning for Max Scherzer, and it is. So 1-2-3 inning for Max Scherzer, 3-0 Padres going to the top of the 4th. And listen, easy. I'm on board with you with playing the kids, but again, don't come on the channel and complain about losing when you says I'd rather see the young kids struggle than veterans, which I'm on board with, but then don't complain about losing. And we hype all these prospects up. And again, this is the huge problem I had. Listen, I have no problem with playing the kids, but you're going to have to expect struggles. But when you need these guys to be a big part of your lineup, there's no margin for error when you're trying to make the playoffs. All right. This is not a rebuilding year. This is not a year where you're looking for the kids to come up and, give them all the time in the world and go through the struggles and still trying to make the playoffs. Right. You're in a crunch now where you're 6.5 games out of a wild card spot. The Mets went on a 6-game winning streak. If they win today, they win 7 out of 8 before the All-Star break. Beatty is better than what the Mets have. That's why he's in the lineup. But I'm telling you right now, if somebody's playing better, I don't want Beatty in the lineup. I can care less about his experience because I'm trying to win ball games here. Let's stop babying these freaking kids. I'm sorry. All right? Right? I have no problem seeing Dela Cruz come up and take the Major League Baseball by storm and all these other guys that come up and do the job. And then you see Brett Beatty really struggling, which I appreciate. Again, easy. You're not listening. Again, you're asking the same question, and I'm giving you an answer. You just don't like the answer. That is not my problem if you don't like the answer. The point of the matter is the fact that the Mets don't have anything better. If they did, Beatty would not be playing. I can guarantee you that. And he shouldn't be playing. The whole thing, if I'm a manager, I'm playing the player who is better, the player who has the hot hand and is looking better on the field. Again, Beatty's been fine defensively. Offensively, he's supposed to be a better offensive player than a defensive player. The problem is the Mets don't have nobody better. So that's why Beatty's playing every day, which I'm fine with. But don't complain about losing. And I'm giving you a big reason why when every time Beatty comes up, he's swinging at terrible pitches because he is struggling right now, which is understandable. But don't complain about losing and acting like he's not part of the reason. He is. He's been a huge disappointment. And he's got more playing time than Francisco Alvarez. A lot more. Yeah, I'm not trading Beatty. That's not gonna. I don't want to do that. But again, you can't have it both ways. You can't complain about losing and then say, oh, I'd rather see the kids struggle than the veterans struggle. No, I don't want to see nobody struggling. Easy. Yes, they are. Yes, he's not the biggest reason, right? It's been the pitching the majority of the year. But he's done nothing to help this team win. Let's be honest about that. Right? The other day against them, getting that base hit, that was nice. But, I mean, that's 1 out of every, 15, 20 at-bats here. That's ground ball to second, should be 1 out. Again, you want to disrespect me, that's fine. But the facts are the facts. Beatty has been a disappointment. Don't act like he has not been. Again, you want him to struggle and continue to be in the lineup? Fine. The reason why he's in the lineup is because of the fact that the Mets don't have nothing better. That's it. Beatty is up because Escobar sucked and the Mets had nothing else. That's it. Let's be honest about that. But Beatty has not proven anything yet. Yet, he's going to get the playing time because there's nobody better right now. That's it. And again, he's shown barely any power, and he's batting, 230? Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a disappointment. Admit that he's been bad. Again, you want him, if you rather see the young players play, don't come on the stream and say, oh, I can't believe this team's losing, this team sucks. Well, yeah. And that is a base hit for Francisco Lindor, 1 out hit for Lindor. Yeah, we don't need to trade Beatty. There's no point in trading Beatty. That's stupid. I'm not giving up on the kid. The point of the matter is he's been a disappointment. Again, he's not the biggest reason why this team is losing. It's been obviously the pitching. But early on, he was getting more playing time than Francisco Alvarez. Then what's the problem? Good. It's taking him a little more time to develop. That's okay. But you also can't complain when the Mets are losing and say, oh, well, I'd rather see the young kids than the veterans struggle. Okay, that's fine. But then you're going to complain about losing. Then it doesn't work. It can't work both ways. Come on, Pete. Oh, that hit him on the helmet. All right, so first and second, 1 out. Jeez, that was odd. Like I said, easy. I appreciate the fact that you want the young kids to play. I appreciate that with all the hell in the world. But the fact of the matter is, he's been a disappointment right now. And again, we don't have nothing better right now. So let him play. Let him figure it out. But let's not act like he hasn't been a disappointment. He's playing basically 6 out of 7 days. He's playing every day. There's no more excuses. Get it done. Figure it out. All right, so the Mets got a little something cooking here, a little bit. McNeil in his first at bat got a hit. See if he can get this run home here at second.
Mets have a chance in the second. They got another chance here and an even number 4.
It's just amazing watching the pitch to McNeil. Everything is in off the plate.
Come on, Jeff.
He's gotten into such a big groove all over the plate. Last year's batting champion that they are almost daring him to look in and try to launch. All he has to do is launch a couple that they try to go in, and they'll stop doing that.
He's hit just 3 home runs this year. 318 at bats.
Come on, Jeff.
Not nearing that right now. 2 years ago, when he slumped, it seemed like it was because he was trying to hit home runs. That's not the case this year at all. In fact, sometimes it's looked like he's been a little too tentative about trying to get to his power.
Look, the fact of the matter is, Easy's not wrong by not that playing Beatty every day. We agree on that fact. Trading Beatty is just idiotic. We all know that. I mean, you shouldn't be trading Beatty. Good eye. Jeff McNeil has been taking better pitches as of late. Come on, Jeff. You could just see Jeff McNeil has been he seems like he's off balance all year. It's just a weird season for Jeff McNeil. Ball 3. Good eye, Jeff. Good eye. That was a nice curveball there that he laid off. Full count.
Laid off two tough.
Come on, Jeff.
Changeup, and now the breaking ball. True to form, you would think that Musgrove would come back and with a cutter in on McNeil.
Would you afford to send the runners here?
Yeah, I would. No, 3-0, Gary. Sorry, down 3 runs. We could not.
Musgrove instructed to wait till the hitter is alert to him before he comes set.
Plus, the way it's configured, if I was catching, I would throw Alonso on second.
Joe, not really.
Over the runner at second, Alonso at first with 1 out.
And it hits Jeff McNeil. So 2 hits batsman in the inning. Bases loaded, 1 out for DJ Stewart. Come on. Well, Ryan, we couldn't sign Arias. It was the Marlins traded for him. This wasn't a sign. All right. So a little wild in this inning for Joe Musgrove. See if the Mets can take advantage of this here. DJ Stewart got a single in his first at bat. Mets have a chance here to come back into this ball game in the 4th inning. Come on. Pitching coach is coming out to the mound.
There's not a hitter I can let that in a 3-2 situation with runners at first and second. I mean, that ball missed by 3 feet. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you also think that if there's any start,
The channel is on, if you're in New York, it's on Pix 11. It's not on SNY today.
overly sticky hands, that it would be this start?
I agree.
Well, yeah, Olsen wasn't happening. The Mets did not have the prospects or willing to give up the prospects for Olsen. And again, you have Pete Alonso. You're not trading for Olsen. That doesn't make sense. All right, come on, DJ. Let's go. Keep the merry-go-round moving. Let's go.
Here's DJ Stewart.
Let's go. Get it up in the air. At least get a sac fly here at the very least. Oh, going after the first pitch. I like it. Being a little aggressive. I don't mind that at all.
So the time runs on base against Musgrove, a single and 2-hit batsman. Musgrove had hit just 4 batters total in his first 13 starts this year, but he got Alonso on the helmet and McNeil on the leg. Lindor edging down the line in third.
Ooh, nice curveball. That's a nasty curveball there. That's an unhittable curveball right there. 0-2. Come on, DJ. Ah, that was a bad at bat. 2 outs. Yeah, that was an at bat that a guy was trying to do too much on an at bat. That was exactly what he was doing there, trying to do way too much. Well, bases loaded, 2 outs for Francisco Alvarez. I tell you guys, Alvarez seems like he comes up in every potential clutch situation. It's crazy. Let's go. I'll take a base hit here. Oh, that's a generous strike. Yeah, you're right, Joe. Ooh. Yep. And he strikes out the last 2 batters, and the Mets do not score. Bases loaded, 1 out. And the Mets still trailed 3-0. The Mets had multiple innings now where they had runners on and a double play ball and strikeouts cost them a potential few runs in an inning, and the Mets still trailed 3-0. Again, I'm not going to kill Alvarez there. He's been basically our best hitter with runners in scoring position lately, other than Lindor. But, that was a terrible at-bat by DJ Stewart there. It looked like, he was somebody who was trying to do too much in that situation. Yeah, Cezzo, I agree. I 100% agree, to be honest with you. A situation's there where, if you're DJ Stewart, you want to be a little bit more patient at the plate. He hit 2 batters in the inning, and, he looks a little wild, and basically you gave him that confidence back that anything you throw, you're going to swing at. Yeah, explosive. Well, listen, why not, right? We all know what happened in the playoffs last year. Well, you know what's funny, Alien? I was at that game 3 of the playoff series when Musgrove pitched. It was cold that night, very cold that night, right? And he had the shiny ear. In San Diego, it's 75, close to 80 degrees, somewhat warm, and there's no shiny ear. So again, the Mets, Bassi was throwing bad in practice, so it really didn't matter if the Mets hit Musgrove because it probably wouldn't have mattered the way Bassett pitched. Well, Joe, the out-of-town scoreboard is the Phillies lost. And the Mets are not going to lose ground, but they can gain ground. So since the first inning where Scherzer gave up the 3 runs, he's had the second inning, third inning pitched very well. Let's see if he can put up another 0 here in the 4th. Well, Thomas, the San Diego Padres are the 3rd highest team in the baseball, and they have the same record as the Mets. And the Yankees are, I believe, 1 game ahead in the 3rd wild card with the 2nd higher payroll. So it's been a big disappointment. Big disappointment for the top 3 payrolls in baseball. Every one of them teams should be better. Easy. I don't even understand why Gary Cohen did that, and I love Gary Cohen, but I mean, look, Showalter was desperate at that point, right? His team was showing no life. Showalter was trying to hit lightning in a bottle there. I can't blame him for that. And again, there was something on his ear. Let's be honest about that. Like, there was clearly something on his ear. Like, I'm sorry, it was a cold day. You're not sweating on the ears. I'm sorry. It was cold that night. I was at that game. It was freezing at that playoff game. That wind was hauling. So this ball's going to drop right in no man's land. Leadoff single for Bogarts. So once again, guys, we're in the bottom of the 4th. Mets trail 3-0 to the Padres. 3-run homer from Machado in the first inning is all the runs for the game so far. So if you get a chance, please hit on that like button. Let's get more people in the stream. Got we're almost to the middle of the game right now. And Scherzer's pitch count is 57, which is not terrible in the 4th inning. I mean, it could be a little bit better, but it's not as terrible as it was after his first inning of 29 pitches. Well, Ryan, and I can also come back to you the fact that both teams could easily lost both games and easily could have won both games. Both teams didn't play well, right? The first game, the Padres ran themselves out of an inning, right? The Mets basically gave with a couple of errors, gave the Padres the game yesterday, let's be honest. So, I mean, both teams haven't really been sharp. Phil, I can't answer that. I don't know why Ronnie Mauricio is not up.
It's just you and me up here.
Oh, almost got Bogarts leading off first a little bit more.
Just got back as Cronenworth is out on strikes.
So Cronenworth strikes out. It was almost a strike him out. Throwing just got that foot back. Ooh.
Everything's close, and even if he doesn't get anybody, there is collateral effects to that. It keeps Bogarts closer. Guy hits a double, maybe he doesn't score. And this is a good one if you have a strikeout. Sometimes the runner has a little time where they kind of lose where they are.
Sanchez flying to left his first time, and Scherzer crowds with the fastball. I was going to say is it's illegal. And status issue Dennis.
He hasn't said one wrong thing in 60-something years.
Exactly, Ryan.
Conversations. It feels like it's just you and me having this conversation. Yes. Now, it happens that there are microphones in this camera. You know, other people are paying attention to what we say, but you can have the artifice of privacy.
And I did feel that way. It's going to get one of us in trouble.
You know, we keep
including number 17.
you've said that for 18 years, but somehow we're all still here.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Mets ran into a very hot pitcher in Snell, and they still had a chance in the ninth inning to win the ball to come back in the ball game. You know, I mean, that's all you can ask for, considering the fact that Snell basically dominated the Mets offense lineup. So, you know, but again, in that situation, he still had a chance at the night. Again, a few more feet to the right, it's a tie ball game with Francisco Lindor, a long ball that just missed being fair. If that ball's fair, it could have been a different ball game. You never know. Hey, Brandon, how you doing? I mean, yeah, considering the fact that, I mean, to be honest, can you name a pitcher that would be worth $43 million? Maybe Shohei Ohtani, but like nobody's worth that money. I'm sorry. Every contract is overpaid. Is a ton of money, a waste of money. I mean, I would think Trey Turner's been a waste of money. I think Bogart's a waste of money. I mean, as good as Lindor has been this year, he's overpaid as well. I mean, is there any underpaid player right now? Everybody who's done something in their career and gets a contract is clearly overpaid. And he strikes out Sanchez, 2 outs.
Six strikeouts today for Scherzer, 2 out of the order. That's just
Well, Joe, I'm not saying a player is underpaid when they took a team-friendly contract. They didn't have to take a team-friendly contract. He took it. That's on him. Any player who takes a team-friendly deal and lets them buy out his arbitration years and performs better, that's on them, in my opinion. You know, you look at a guy like Aaron Hicks and Luis Severino. They paid their arbitration years for the Yankees, right? Paid out their arbitration years. They're not playing better than their contract. You know, people who are underpaid are players like Pete Alonso, who hasn't got a contract yet for what he's done prior.
He's not the only one. I mean, Matt McClain and Spencer Steer are also rookies and have also been terrific for that one. Boy, has he been electric.
Ball 3.
Yeah, now it's 3-0 to pressure would be next.
I mean, I think most of us.
Yeah, that's true, says up.
June. Corbin Carroll had that rookie of the year. So
I agree, Joe.
we have a few more players in
But I think it's always on the organizations. Listen, these organizations continue to give these big contracts and long years. They don't have to do that. The owners, the organizations complain all the time about long contracts, ton of money being spent, but they're the ones doing it. So it's on them. Well, I mean, Barman, what he's been on with the team for what, 5 years? He had three really good out of the 5 years. So yeah, I don't think it's about giving McNeil. It's not like McNeil, you gave him a $200 million contract. It's a team friendly deal. He's having a bad season. What are you gonna do? Come on, Max. And ball 4 walks Odor. Yeah, Ryan. You might think that, but then if Alonso has a big second half, then you're gonna be like, damn, we should have paid him. Yeah, but football is different though. The quarterback, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not winning, right? It's different in baseball, right? I think you have to be very lucky with contracts, in my opinion. I think it's more lucky than it is, oh, that was a good deal by a team. Like, has Bryce Harper contract been a success? He's been injured a majority of his time there, and they finally made the playoffs last year. They have not made the playoffs since he signed that contract up until last year. So you could say that's been a disappointing contract, right? Max Scherzer's got to get the bottom of the order here. So we're in the bottom of the fourth, 3-0 Padres. First and second, 2 outs. In the bottom of the fourth, Machado, 3-run homer in the first is the difference in the ball game so far. Scherzer's just missing on the corners here. 2-0. You don't want to flip this lineup over. Yeah, exactly, Joe. Well, you know what, Joe? I would even say the Patrick Corbin contract for the Nationals, because that year he pitched great. So, and he won a World Series with Patrick Corbin. So I would deal with a contract like that. If the Mets win a World Series, I can care less who they paid. I don't think Harper's contract is worth it, to be honest with you. The Phillies made the playoffs one time in the last – how long Harper's been with the Phillies? Since 2019? In 4 years, they made the playoffs once. Not saying that he was the biggest problem, but he's been injured more often than not. Even though he had a great postseason last year, the Phillies made the playoffs once. So far, I wouldn't say it's worth it yet. He's got, 6 more years on that contract? And he's already been very injured, and he's not even playing the field anymore. He's playing first base a little bit, but he's basically a DH now. So you're paying, $25, $30 million for a DH. No, I don't think Bogart's contract is going to work out either. And, that's strike 3. Oh, where was that pitch? That was a bad frame job by Alvarez. I give a lot of credit for Alvarez behind the plate, but he didn't frame that pitch at all. That ball might have been a strike if he framed it better. Well, the runners will be going 3-2, 2 outs. Got to get Grisham here. Oh, just outside. That was a nice pitch.
Interesting choice with the hitter, Grissom, batting at such a low level, but Max remembers that home run from the Wild Card Series as well. Hefner with what could you say to a 3-time
79 pitches in 3 2/3 for Scherzer right now. He's got the bases loaded with 2 outs with the top of the order coming up. Well, Ryan, but he also accepted a contract. And again, has it been worth it? He got suspended for steroids. He got suspended again. He's going to be out for the year. And what had the Padres win? They've been a huge disappointment. So if you're not making the playoffs or you're not doing any damage in the playoffs, all those contracts will be disappointing. All right, well, this can be the game right here. Got to get out of this inning, not giving up any runs here. Amazing. That was the same pitch he threw on the outside corner, and he didn't call it a strike, but called it on the inside corner. Yeah, exactly, LRF, exactly. Again, I don't think any of these big contracts are going to work out. I think you just hope with one of those big contracts, you win a World Series, and then you can say, all right, we got a World Series out of it. Whatever happens, happens. That's the way I see it. Like the Patrick Corbin contract for the Nationals. It's a disaster, but they got a World Series championship out of it. So, yeah, it looks bad now, but that Patrick Corbin was a big reason why the Nationals won that World Series in 2019. Well, Ryan, it seems like nobody does that and that's a ground ball. Lindor flips it, and he's out at second, barely. Woof. That was the only play for Lindor, but he gets out of it. So Scherzer gets out of that jam that he put himself in. 3-0 Padres going to the top of the 5th. The Mets had opportunities in the 2nd and the 4th inning and did not get the runners in. Let's see if they can get it together again. The Mets will have a 8-9-1 Beatty, Guillorme, and Nimmo to start the top of the 5th. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to this Sunday edition of Mets live stream, Mets Padres rubber game of the series and the last game before the All-Star break. Once again, guys, there will be no Shade Bridge show tonight. That is usually every Sunday at 8 p.m. Again, Hayden's coming back from his baseball tour, stadium tour, so want to give him time to get back, enjoy his vacation before he gets back to his life in Florida when he gets back. So me and Hayden will be back next Sunday for the start of, we're going to have games Friday, Saturday, Sunday after the All-Star break. So the series will be over by the time we go through that Shea Bridge show against the Dodgers. So we'll see what the Mets have in store for us then. But Shea Bridge show will be back on next week, next Sunday. Probably will be before, I think the Sunday game against the Dodgers is Sunday Night Baseball, so we'll come on before that game. And, of course, I am still getting everybody to see if they're going to be available prior to the Home Run Derby for the Mets Roundtable podcast. So I'll keep you guys posted for that. And I will be doing a live stream for the Home Run Derby tomorrow. A lot of people asked for it. It was a big success last year, and I'll do it again tomorrow. So make sure you tune in to that. So the Mets are trailing 3-0 going to the top of the 5th. Mets need to get some runs on the board. Musgrove has been putting runners on base. Hit batsman, walks, couple of hits. But when the Mets needed the big hit, Musgrove has come through and got out of innings. The Mets got to capitalize on those opportunities. So the New York Mets are up in the top of the 5th. Brett Beatty leading off 3-0 Padres.
Stays outside of Beatty. 2-0. Beatty struck out his first time up. Guillorme and Nimmo follow. It's got 2 aboard in the 2nd, but a double play ball. Got Musgrove out of it, and he escaped in the 4th. Covered bounce foul, and it's 2-1. I think the Cardinals would 2-1. The young RBI double bottom of the top of the 10th, and they beat the White Sox today. You see the White Sox coming in on that next Thursday.
Try the nightmare
Shea wanted to make an appearance, guys. Say hello to Shea, everybody. He was resting a little bit, but I had to feed him. So let's see how he's doing. There he goes. He's always fascinated by the lights of the camera. How you doing, buddy? Mets gonna win?
That's away. He goes back here to Beatty. Takes a change up.
They'll give us the skinny. Straight up.
All right, so Beatty's putting a good at bat together here. See if he can capitalize on that good at bat. And it hits him, but it would have been ball four anyway. So leadoff runner on for the Mets. Good at bat by Beatty there to get back into that account. Yeah, exactly. He's always in a black jersey. He's always on Blackout Friday. Well, easy. If the Mets are within, some people are saying if they're within 5 games of a wild card spot by the deadline, I wouldn't be shocked if the Mets go after some bullpen. Why not? Right? The Mets can take a bad contract to get a good reliever or a good player on this team. And I think if you help this bullpen a lot, I think it's going to be very possible. See if Leo Scioma can get on base here. Get 2 men on with the top of the order. Even though Nimmo's been struggling, I don't mind Nimmo up in this spot with a couple of men on. Got a couple of Let's Go Mets chant in San Diego. Well, guys, everybody's talking about Robert and Anderson. You got to give up guys to get them. It's not you're not going to just give them to us. Like who are you giving up? What's the package? And it doesn't look like the Mets are going to trade a lot of prospects. So ground ball, is it going to be a double play? It is. Jesus Christ, double plays killing us today. That was a nice turn. Double play, 3-6-3. Excuse me, 3-6-1. Double plays have killed this team today. So 2 outs, nobody on, Nimmo up. Yeah, LRF, I understand that, but again, the trade value, it might be at an all-time low, but when you got more teams trying to get him, ooh, you know what? I'm surprised. Maybe he was out. It looked like it was bang bang. Well, again, there's been problems with Roberts with being a bad clubhouse guy, not showing effort sometimes. I don't know if the Mets are going to do that. Look, I would do that. I mean, you're not bringing up Mauricio. It's been, how many times can he brought up Mauricio? So I don't know. I agree, Easy. I don't think Musgrove is actually this good. Again, he has that extra jolt playing the Mets. Let's be honest.
Positions, but they made the decision to Scherzer and Osborne that made full-time first base.
The key here is that it wasn't hit that hard, so he's got to fire a strike and get it off quickly.
And Nimmo grounds it. The second base should end the inning, and it does. So it ended up being 3 batters in the 5th inning. Technically, it wasn't a 1-2-3, but it felt like it. Mets do not score in the top of the 5th. 3-0 Padres. Yeah, it's funny. Darvish owned the Mets. And, the Mets are hitting Darvish a lot better this year. And, Musgrove, ever since the playoff series, has pitched well against the Mets. So, unfortunately for the Mets, the offense has been a no-show. And again, Scherzer threw 4 innings. After the first, he's kept the lead. He kept it to 3 runs. After you give up the home run, you just ask him to keep it to 3. He's done that so far. So, can't ask anything more after that first inning than to keep the 3 runs. And the Mets had opportunities, let's be honest. They had, first and second, 1 out. Alvarez hit into a double play, and then bases loaded. Didn't do anything, 2 strikeouts. And then another double play again. The double plays has killed them. The Mets had opportunities. So, well, Andre, who? That is the problem you're going to run into, right? You still got Marte for 2 more years. Depending on if the Mets are going to be sellers at the deadline, still yet to be determined. I don't know if anybody's going to want Marte. You're going to take on a lot of money to get what type of prospect. You can say, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, yes, it does. Because you got to look at who are you going to replace these guys with. The Mets are going to have Nimmo as your outfielder next year. Like Alex Ramirez in the minor league system is not going to be ready yet. So, can you look at a guy like Cody Bellinger, who's having a resurgence this year? Are you going to trust him? Can you put him in right field, put him in left field? That's an opportunity. That's a possibility for the Mets. I mean, honestly, though, the Mets can look at Cody Bellinger as a trade, possibly for a trade, and maybe get a little bit of a better bat for the outfield. And you know how good Bellinger is defensively. So Scherzer, bottom of the 5th, 3-0 Padres. Soto up. 83 pitches for Scherzer. All right, so Tommy Pham update, right groin soreness. So hopefully it's not as bad. Izzy, he might be. But also, people were talking about this today, that the NL Central is so bad, the Cubs actually have a shot at that division. So I don't know if they're going to trade him. I wouldn't be shocked if they trade him, but I wouldn't be shocked if they keep him either. And Soto strikes out. So Scherzer has been pitching a little bit better. He got a little into trouble last inning, but he's been striking out a lot more guys. 7 strikeouts in the game.
Well, he does something that no other catcher does. If you watch Gary, he does move his glove up, but he doesn't linger it. Most catchers pop the glove up and hold the glove for the umpire to see. He snaps it in and throws it back, just like not showing up the umpire. And I think that's why he gets a lot of calls. It's a change up away, starts the glove at the bottom, pops it up, and takes it back into the hand and throws it. He doesn't hold it there to say, you gotta call this a strike. And I think the umpires appreciate that.
And that is a base hit by Tatis. Thomas, what type of fan are you? Are you a Mets fan or you're a Padres fan? What are you? I'm curious.
So the manager has got to trust his player to not because you can't, the manager can't tell whether it's a mixed condition challenge is off the net.
Played with some guys that challenge everything.
That's exactly right. And we saw it in the early days of replay, guys on close plays immediately signaling to challenge, and we got away from that because they realized that it's the guy in the replay room who's going to make that decision. But with the ball strike challenge,
Well, I think the NL Central is so bad. I think the okay, Tom. Well, at least you were truthful about that. That's okay. Again, the NL Central is so bad. I mean, the Cubs. I think if the Cubs don't get what they want, and that might be gone. Oh wow, that ball did get out. 5 RBIs for Manny Machado. 5-0 Padres. Well, it's been all Machado today. Machado has killed Scherzer. 2 home runs are all the runs, and they're all from Manny Machado. I can't believe that ball went out. I thought that was a pop-up off the bat. Well, hit it to the right part of the ballpark, 322.
This series, 2 in this game. We were just talking about trusting your players, about challenges. There's a certain trust that goes into knowing that the hitter's going to make it.
And Bogarts hits a pop-up. Should be a can of corn from Minimo, and it is.
Trying to hit a ball 500 feet. He'll take the 342 to the jury box.
Manny Machado, it's the 36th time in his career he's hit 2 or 4 home runs in a game. 2 earlier, he's walked and struck out. Scherzer continues to battle the home run genie. He's now given up 18 home runs this year, including 16 starts. Whereas in his last start, he gave up 3 home runs with the bases empty. Today, he's given up 2 to Machado, both with men on base. That's a foul. Stay alive.
Joe, they're not going to fire Epler, especially during the season, and not before the trade deadline. So this is not going to happen. And that's a pop-up. Should end the inning. And it ends the inning. Manny Machado, 5 RBIs today, 2 multi-home runs, 3-run homer in the first, and now a 2-run homer in the 5th. Mets trail 5-0. It's been all Manny Machado today. If it wasn't for Manny Machado, who knows how many runs the Padres have had? Probably 0. Well, Joe, I said this again. Everybody is so fascinated by David Stearns, and I go back to saying, what has he won? Well, Epstein is not happening. Theo Epstein doesn't want to run a ball club anymore. He wants ownership of a team, or partial ownership of a team, or a percentage of ownership. I don't think he wants it. Look, listen, if you're Theo Epstein, you basically broke 2 curses with the Red Sox and the Cubs. What else do you have to prove? Like, I wouldn't come back if I was him. All you're going to do is hurt your great resume. I wouldn't come back either. He has a nice, comfortable job in the Major League offices, and that's it. So Again, I said this about David Stearns. Everybody's so obsessed with David Stearns, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's David Stearns. You got to get David Stearns." Well, he's won nothing in Milwaukee, and I can care less about. All of a sudden, we're not going to worry about. Oh, he don't have the money to spread his wings or shows what he can do. Well, he also gave a contract to Christian Yelich, who that contract is going to look terrible and is already looking terrible. Yelich is having a better year, but he has a chronic back issue, and that's always going to flare up. He already, made, I don't think he made a lot of good moves. This is a Brewers team who constantly chokes in the playoffs and choked last year and constantly can't get over the hump. And that's basically it. Well, Christian, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, like, that's his next step. All right. Mark Canha is up, top of the sixth, 5-0 Padres.
Second time after replacing an injured Tommy Bennett, luckily groin soreness in the first inning. Maryland has got to really get going. He's going to defend his team hit by pitch time.
I don't think he's given a second to that.
You've been in the Met clubhouse this year. You know outside the clubhouse there's a mural of the feats that were accomplished by the Mets last year. And Diaz is a story year.
And it hits Canha on an 0-2 pitch. Again, every hits batsman has been on a breaking ball. Hasn't been on a fastball. And again, he wasn't trying to hit him there. It's 0-2 pitch. Explosive? I wouldn't say. I mean, it sucks, absolutely. But you know what? Thanks for the Phillies losing 2 out of 3, right? That kind of helped our situation. Again, a week ago, we were 10 games out. So, I mean, it could be better. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's get some runs on the board. Oh, pitch clock violation from Musgrove. Ball 1. Come on, Frankie.
And I was looking at the Mets pitching statistics, and I didn't realize this until I looked.
Well, you know what's funny, guys? The Mets are 9th in home runs in Major League Baseball. 9th. Last year, they were what? 16th, 17th? Again, everybody wants home runs, and you see what happens when you score most of your runs with home runs. And the Mets have been doing that this year a lot. And guess what? I'd rather have 5 or 6 guys that have 260 and higher averages than having 220 averages and home runs. Come on, Frankie. Mets got to find a way to get back into this ball game here. Yeah, Elliot, and you know what? A lot of people like that move by the Mets hiring Jared Porter. He was an up-and-coming guy, very popular within Major League Baseball, and the Mets, everybody thought the Mets got a good guy. Unfortunately, you don't know what he does on his off time, right?
Usually today it's just because you have pitchers that will throw breaking balls that don't break. There was a time 30, 40 years ago.
And there's always fans over there that the Mets and the Padres are playing NEC Dodger jerseys. I just don't get it. I hate that so much with a passion. Ryan, are they? I still wouldn't say that. I mean, we did take 2 out of 3 against the Padres at Citi Field. They're just returning the favor if they win today. I don't think they're much better. I think they're just as disappointing as the Mets. Yeah, Zach Scott also. 2 guys that were up and coming in Major League Baseball. And they both decided to be pervs. Come on, Frankie. Strike 3, nice pitch. Nasty curveball. Easy? I don't think they are, to be honest with you. I think they're just as disappointing. That's right. He got a DUI. That's right. unfortunately for the Mets.
They are now almost the last one I remember in St. Louis that started the run.
I don't consider them better. What are they? They have the same record as us.
Popped up and made that on the helmet by a pitch. That's it. Takes a break.
But it also evolved, Gary. When I first started pitching, you had to take care of it yourself. The pitcher, you had to feel the eyeballs on you in the dugout.
Come on, Pete.
You go out there and take care of business, so you lost street cred in the clubhouse.
Well, I feel as though, we saw what's hard to it.
Yeah,
Ryan, I don't think anybody should be wearing a jersey that is not a jersey of the two teams playing. I think it's so stupid. Okay, easy, and they're the same. We have the same record. So again, on paper means absolutely nothing. And Alonso hits a double play ball, and that's a double play and another double play from the Mets, and it's been costing them big innings all game. 5-0 Padres going to the bottom of the fifth. Again, easy. I can care less what it says on paper. Right? The Mets should be better on paper. The Padres should be better on paper. You know what I look at? The record today. They have the same record as the Mets, and if the Padres win today, they're one game better. And it's been like that the entire year where they've been going back and forth on basically the same record. Double plays are a killer. I'm sorry. I don't look at teams on paper. That means absolutely nothing to me. If that's the case, why play the game? Right? Then, the best team in baseball, the Braves, should just win the World Series every year because they clearly have the best players on paper. That doesn't work out like that. All right? It really doesn't matter. You know what? Clearly, numbers-wise, the Padres should be a lot better because of their pitching, but they're not. But again, easy. Look at the entire season. They have not proven that they're better. They're just as bad as the Mets. Very simple, right? The Mets took 2 out of 3 at Citi Field against the Padres. Did you consider the Mets better than the Padres at that point? You probably did. Yeah, Pete Alonso this year, and the reason why I thought Pete Alonso turned a new leaf was because he batted 270 last year with all those home runs and 120 RBIs. I listen, you bat 270 and you can hit 40 plus home runs and over 100 RBIs. That is huge. And that's why I thought Pete Alonso was becoming not just a power hitter, but a very good hitter. I'm sorry, you can't bat under 220. You can't bat 220 and hit 40 home runs and 100 RBIs, and I'm going to call you a good hitter. So TJ McFarland is in the ballgame. Scherzer is out of the ballgame. Not a good performance by Max Scherzer. I mean, it's basically been getting beat by Manny Machado, but the runs still count either way, no matter who it is. 5 runs given up by Scherzer is not what you needed from Max Scherzer. Joseph, I don't think anybody. Now, I did believe that the Mets were going to take a step back than 101 wins. I believe that 100%. I think I had the Mets winning 94 ball games. I mean, I didn't have them winning the division either. I didn't think they were going to be this bad. Yeah, easy. I agree. Again, another big game that the Mets needed Scherzer to come through here. And again, let's not act like the offense didn't help the situation either. But again, you can't give up 5 runs if you Max Scherzer in 5 innings. I'm sorry. That's a huge disappointment. And once again, a big start for Scherzer comes up small. No, I don't want a Rocker jersey. And Alvarez drops the ball in foul territory. No, Joseph, it won't be. But you know what? We also right, Joseph. But we also said that the Arizona series wasn't going to be an easy one for us either, and they swept them. You can't predict baseball. You just can't. You know, the Mets were coming into a series against the Padres on a winning streak, and the Padres were on a 3-game winning streak, right? Both teams were feeling good about themselves, right? I mean, anybody could have said either team could take 2 out of 3. Ooh.
Also, his reaction was a little late. He didn't know where the ball was.
Yeah, Larissa. I mean, that's been a huge problem for Scherzer this year. I mean, it was a huge problem in September into the playoffs last year with Scherzer. And this year, it's been the entire season with giving up home runs. It's been a huge problem. You know, he cuts those home runs in half. He has a better season. That's been a big problem. And that's probably going to be a double for Gary Sanchez. Leadoff double for Sanchez. Joseph, I'm not even going to lie to you. I haven't even looked at the players that should be coming out of the draft. I haven't even looked. That's my fault. But because the Mets have the 32nd pick, and unlike last year when they had 2 picks in the top 15, I was very curious to see who was available. But I haven't really done my homework on that. I'm going to start looking at it since the draft is about an hour away. Yeah, I mean, yesterday I blamed the Mets offense a little bit more because I think David Peterson gave you enough yesterday where the Mets should have been better offensively. Today, I mean, you can't give up 5 runs if you're Scherzer. I mean, the offense had opportunities, but you know, the Mets could have scored 4 runs and lost this game. Well, Larissa, if you bet against the Mets this year, you probably made a lot of money. And McFarland strikes out Odor, 1 out.
Gets another left-handed hitter, Trent Grisham, who actually has hit lefties better than righties this year. Today has popped up and walked. So we're about to reach the All-Star break. Max Scherzer just made his last start before the break. We mentioned the 4.31 ERA. How would you assess Max's first half, taking into account the suspension and the injuries and the up and down nature?
Yeah, I look at his year, and being completely honest here, the wins that he's got kind of shaded some of the things that have gone on that he can't be happy with. That is, runs given up, runs allowed, putting his team kind of behind the eight ball. He hasn't gone deep into games.
And that's a base hit. Should score Sanchez. 6-0 Padres.
Just a hanging slide on the outside market bench like Gary Mercer. Should be playing
Oh,
against lefty.
pitching did not help the situation.
So for ball players, if everything is going perfectly, swimmingly in the first half, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to hold your head. Everything's going good. Just continue to do what I did.
And behind home plate, I see a Yankee jersey. And that's a base hit.
If you've had a tough first half, what you need to do is you need to go and in those quiet moments, as this ball gets through, you have to look in the mirror. You have to say, wait a minute. Exactly. You have the wins and losses you have on. Exactly is going on and how can I get better?
Well, I'm not going to say pathetic bullpen. I mean,
Certainly have a number of players.
you all going to the bottom of the barrel in the 5th inning here.
Soto, 0 for 3 today, 1 for 11 in the series, batting with 2 on. And takes a slider down the ball.
No, Ryan, don't care. I'm sorry. I've been to many games where the Mets aren't playing, and I don't wear full Mets gear like the Mets are playing. It's just stupid to me. It's just people looking for attention, right? A Dodger fan decked out in Dodger merchandise at a Padre game is just looking for attention. That the Padres are not playing the Dodgers. The Padres are not playing the Dodgers. Right? When Yankee fans wear full Yankee gear at Citi Field and the Mets are playing the Marlins, it makes no sense. And I think it's stupid. It's looking for attention, and that's it.
In those years, you saw a lot of swing and miss. You didn't see when he popped that fastball in that got fouled off and he had to live to make another pitch. So there's been a difference in that way.
Ryan, nothing's going to happen because I don't know what you expect. So Buck is taking on McFarland now. Bases loaded, 1 out. I mean, you can wear a Rocker jersey. People will probably say something to you, but what do you expect to happen? Like, I mean, we're not Philly fans who act like a fool. You know, Dodger fans who like to beat up people in parking lots. So McFarland's coming out of the game. Well, yeah, I mean, Joe, honestly, I could see you, like, I get, like, during the hockey playoffs, people wear, like, a Ranger jersey or an Islander jersey or a Devil jersey going to a baseball game because it's playoffs. You know, you represent your team like that. But, like, I never understood it. Like, I've been to many games, baseball games. Like, I've been to Yankee Stadium a couple of times when the Yankees were facing the Kansas City Royals because I got tickets or I wanted a giveaway that I like to get. I collect bobbleheads. You know, the John and Susan bobblehead from last year. I went to Yankee Stadium when they played. I think it was the Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken. I went to that game. I wore normal clothes. I did not wear full Mets gear. I just don't see the point in that. You're looking for attention, and then when people start getting on you, you get mad. Like, I go up to every time I see a Yankee jersey, somebody in full Yankee gear at Citi Field when the Mets are playing anybody else but the Yankees, I go, hey, wrong ballpark. You know, you should be watching your team instead of being at a ball game, you know, looking for attention. And they get mad. I'm like, well, what do you expect? Like, don't get mad when you're clearly looking for attention. What do people are gonna, give you a sign of confidence? No. Well, Thomas, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I mean, who cares, right? If you're an adult, you can't have a favorite player. You can't wear a jersey. I mean, come on. I mean, please. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I won't do that. Like I said, I've been to many games throughout that weren't the Mets weren't playing. All right, so Hartwig is in the game. 6-0 Padres. Bases loaded, nobody out. Bottom of the sixth. Yeah, exactly, Joe. Like I said, I don't care what fan you are of a team. Like, if you want to go to enjoy a ball game, no problem. But there's no need for that. Like, nobody's gonna care you're wearing a Tigers jersey and hat at Citi Field because nobody cares about the Tigers. Like, but still, it's like it's just pointless to me. It's like you're either looking for attention, or I just don't get it. I feel like you're just looking for attention at that point. Like, I was wearing no Mets gear at Yankee Stadium last year, getting the John and Susan bobblehead when they were playing the Blue Jays. A few Yankee fans recognized me from the channel only because of my face, not because I was decked out in Mets gear. And says, "Oh, I know you. This might be a double play ball," and it is to get out of the inning. And the Mets only give up one run, but it is 6-0 after 6, going to the top of the 7th. Can the Mets show any signs of life offensively to try to get back into this ball game? Not looking good for the New York Mets to end the first half of the season. Unfortunately for the Mets, when they had opportunities, it's been big strikeouts and many. I think they hit into 4 double plays today, and 3 of them in big spots. Can't do that. You want to win a ball game, you can't do that. No, Alien, I just don't care. No. I mean, I guess, but is that really a Mets fan? You're going to wear a Scherzer, Verlander, Tiger jersey? I mean, I don't know about that. Like, look, I always believe this, and I was always just, listen, look, you can do whatever the hell you want. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I just think that's somebody looking for attention. I'm sorry. You're decked out in Yankees gear going to Citi Field when the Yankees are not playing the Mets. Then you get mad when people call you out. Like, you were clearly looking for attention. So, I don't know. That's just me. Well, Ryan, that's just childish. There's no need for that. Sticks and stones, right? I mean, if words are going to make you punch somebody's teeth in, then it's like you don't have no control over yourself. I'm sorry. I don't go to a baseball game. I'm sorry. If I'm going to a Mets-Phillies game and I'm wearing my Mets gear, I expect to get trolled and get people yelling at me and screaming at me and stuff like that. I'm not going to punch. Unless you touch me, words aren't going to hurt me. I'm sorry. You got to be more of an adult than that. So, Mets are in the 6th inning, down by 6. Tim Hill is in the game, the lefty for the Padres. Can the Mets show any signs of life offensively to try to come back in this ball game? Not looking pretty so far for the Mets. Let's see. McNeil, Stewart, Alvarez in the 6th for the Mets. Listen to the game, guys. I'll be right back.
Clutches and just got McNeil at first base. Attempted it for his second time, but just enough.
to my eyelash.
One on DJ Stewart, who singled and struck out in his first start as a Met. He takes outside on the fastball up there for ball one. 2016 against the Phillies, 2019 against the Nationals, and today, that's with 4 batters hit in a single game. Late season game against the Phillies in 2016, was that the Cabrera series?
Yes. That went into the next year. Remember that?
De Los Santos.
Yes.
And hit somebody. Did he hit Cabrera or hit somebody else? That was with Larry Boa got a little sense to the dugout.
He threw it behind Cabrera, and Cabrera didn't know what the heck he was doing. And then we kind of dug it up.
And then Frenchie was involved, right? He was with the Phillies then?
Frenchie was involved, and then he was involved more because I think it might have been the same game that who was our pitcher that used to point to the sky in the home runs game? Hansel Robles. Remember, he threw a pitch before one of the Phillies.
Yeah, alien, isn't that crazy, right? So 1 out, DJ Stewart up. And that's ball 4. 1 out, walk for Stewart. Well, I see it as this. His pitch count was kind of high, 6-0 lead. I think they think the ball pick can handle it. I mean, the Mets have shown no signs of life offensively, so. They haven't been good this year, Larissa. Oh, I did? Haha, I did. That's perfect. Well, he don't deserve to spell his name right. He is pitching like Matt Scherzer. I'm going to change that because it's kind of funny. And Alvarez strikes out. Alvarez had a tough game today. Well, sometimes, the catcher's day game after a night game, not easy. And, it looks like Alvarez is a little tired. His bat is a little long. And that's why, again, it's the All-Star break. Ground ball. And, safe. Hey, we got a break. Yay. Yeah, explosive. I agree. Again, but Buck said before the game, if it wasn't for the 4 off days, Alvarez wouldn't be playing today, which he shouldn't be playing today. Day game after a night game, you got to sit your catcher. It takes a toll. I don't care if you're 21 years old. It's a tough position. It's a tough situation. It's a tough position to be in. You could be 21 years old. Playing every day, it's like, ugh. And they call them out. I don't think Jesus. All right. Well, everything is going against the Mets. And that ends the 7th inning. And the Mets do not score once again. 6-0 Padres going to the bottom of the 7th. Nothing's going the Mets' way in this ball game. But it has all been mostly Machado in today's ballgame. 3-run homer and a 2-run homer, all off of Scherzer. And McFarland gave up a run. 6-0 Padres, bottom of the 7. Once again, guys, please hit on that like button. Well, Larissa, they weren't solo home runs. Solo home runs don't hurt. Multi-home runs hurt, and he gave up 2 of those. I agree, Mark. I agree. It all started. I truly, and I believe this. I think Scherzer made a mockery of the pitch clock in spring training, and I think he didn't realize how quick it is, and I think it actually is a huge problem for him. I don't think it's age or anything like that. I do think the fact that he is a pitcher that likes to be, he's used a lot of energy on the mound. You seen him last year when he was on it, basically the first 4 months of the year. He was sweating, he was pacing and all that. He can't do that on the mound anymore. He can't pace anymore. He can't be. And I think the pitch clock affects him, not in a way of age where he has to quickly, set up again and throw a pitch. I think he is a guy that likes to show a lot of energy on the mound and pace and all that stuff. He can't do that anymore. That's been a big arsenal in his career. He can't do that anymore. But you know what? That's no excuse, right? He made a mockery of it, of spring training, except trying to find ways to explore it and to manipulate it better. He hasn't. Well, yeah, Thomas, that is the problem too. The offense hasn't helped the cause either. I'm sorry. Yesterday, the Mets should have won a ball game. You gave up only 3 runs for David Peterson. I would take that every day of the week. 5 in the third, 3 runs for a guy nobody wanted in the rotation. I take that every day of the week for David Peterson as your 5th starter. You got to score runs. So we're going to the bottom of the 7th, 6-0. Hartwig is still in the ball game.
I don't know why I was there because I certainly would not usually do that. I must have had some kind of appearance or something. Really?
JL, I'm actually going to check that out on my phone. I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? Because I haven't slept in 24 hours because I was at a party last night. So I was at a party last night and I went straight to the party to work and then I'm here. So I haven't slept at all. So after this, I'm probably not even going to watch the draft. I'll just see who the Mets draft after. Whenever I wake up, which will probably be tomorrow. Offensive, you know what? He's been, people was killing Lindor, yet there was a lot of other people that you could complain about. You could complain about Pete Alonso the entire year, McNeil, Marte. There was a lot of other guys but people want to complain about Lindor. You're not the only one. I agree. But I appreciate that, offensive, for the kind words. And Machado again, and nice play by Canna to get the first out of the ball of the inning. Yeah, explosive, and that's the draft. Larissa starts at 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. That was a nice catch by Canna.
This week. 6 All-Star games. They left some series. Almost going to count it. Yeah, we don't know that he's that young. He signed the deal with 5
explosive. You know what? If you look at his numbers after the home run derby the last 2 seasons, they're tremendously better. So maybe it will help his swing. Round ball should be an out to us. Well, Thomas, looking around baseball, there's not a lot of people hitting over 260. It's sad. And yet, analytical people tell you the averages don't matter. Yet, the Mets won 101 games last year with being like 18th in home runs, but they had many players batting over 260 last year. It's a big difference. And that ends the inning. Quick inning for Hartwig to end the inning. Top of the 8th coming up. 6-0 Padres. Yeah, offensive. But you know what? I wasn't killing Lindor at all year. Oh, I'm sorry. Pete, excuse me. Again, I think OPS is such a flawed stat. I'm sorry. Have you looked at Travis Jankowski? He has an 800 OPS. Is he all of a sudden a good player? No. Right? OPS is a flawed stat. They use OPS now because everybody tries to be the next. It's, trying to use another stat to glorify every single player or, destroy every single player. I'm sorry. OPS is a flawed stat. I'm sorry. I can't have a guy who hits 45 home runs and hits 100 RBIs but bats 215, right? That's Kyle Schwarber. Is Kyle Schwarber a good player? Yeah, he's a home run hitter that strikes out almost 300 times and bats 220. I'm sorry. Alonso's not having a good year. I don't care. Last year was a good year for Alonso, batting nearly 270. I'm sorry. Average. If you don't think average is an important stat, you haven't watched baseball enough or you don't care to watch. If you watch baseball your whole life, you should know that average matters because that shows you that you put the bat on the ball more. I'm sorry. The Mets had a really good season last year was because they had a lot of guys batting over 260, right? You had two guys. You had Alonso, Lindor, Marte, McNeil, all batting over 260. 4 guys in the lineup that were big components. And even Nimmo batted 270 last year. Look at their averages this year. Nimmo has been just where he is. Well, Jalen, that's why Olsen is a better hitter than this year. His strikeouts is still high, but if he's batting 250, it means he's putting bat on the ball a lot better than he did last year. Right? The big problem that I had with Olsen last year was he was batting like 220 and striking out at a rapid pace. He lowered his strikeouts are still high, but he lowered that down, but he's putting the bat on the ball more. That's why Olsen has become a better hitter this year. Adrian Moreno is on the mound for the Padres. 6-0 Padres. I agree. But again, 220 is not where I want Lindor to be, but over the last month, he's got it up to almost 240. So, again, I think Lindor is going to bat 250 with 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. I take that. I agree, Mark, 100%. That's why OPS is a flawed stat. I'm sorry. It doesn't take average enough into consideration. And I don't understand that at all. Well, JL, he's on the All-Star team because of his notoriety from the All-Star game. That's basically it. Let's be honest.
Giants have now beaten the Padres, have beaten the Rockies 13 of the last 14 meetings.
And they misplay the ball, gets past the center fielder, and it is going to be a double for Guillaume to lead off the 8th inning. That was a misjudgment by Grisham. Thought the left fielder was going to get it, and they misplayed it. Well, that's a good call right there.
Just placed perfectly by Guillaume. I think Grissom thought that Soto was going to catch it, but Soto did not.
So, leadoff double. See if the Mets can get some runs on the board here. Maybe make it interesting. Top of the order is up. You know what's funny? The shifts help guys like Olsen, but if you look at, remember what everybody talked about? Oh, the ban of the shift is going to help the batting average. The batting average is only a few points higher overall in Major League Baseball. So it really hasn't helped overall. That's why it's stupid. How about we just can say that there's not a lot of good hitters in baseball? Let's just be honest. So Morejon has been struggling with strike zone so far. A couple of fastballs not close to the zone, and those are strike, of course.
Because of their great record, we're able to include everybody on that roster all season long. That has not been the case this year. It's like every day you find a reason that you got to play your best because of the record.
Ball three. Mets need base runners. And that's ball four. Mets get the first 2 men on in the eighth. Well, maybe it's a good fortune that Musgrove is out of the ball game here. Maybe take advantage here of the Padres bullpen. Yeah, JL. You know what? It was funny because I was just talking about that with one of my friends who's a Yankee fan. That we were actually talking about the Braves and how good they are. Yeah, clearly Acuna. You know, coming back from that injury, he's gonna be fatigued. So, but yeah, he's trying to hit home runs now. But again, you know, the Braves can afford for Acuna to take it back a little bit and figure things out since they're basically running away with the division. Lucky for them. Exactly, Jay. When he spreads the ball around, he's a dangerous hitter. Come on, Mark. And Canada hits a shot in the gap. Is Soto going to get there? No! And that should score 2 runs. And it will score 2 runs. And Canada gets a 2-run double. 6-2, Padres. Nobody out. Mets are showing a little bit of life offensively here. All right, making it interesting. That was a good pitch to hit by Canna. Soto, I'm surprised Soto didn't catch that ball. He was right there. He missed it. Good base running by Nimmo there. He was basically on second, ready to go. He was going to score easily if that ball dropped, and it did. All right, 2 runs in, man on second. Lindor up. Mets can try to come back in this ball game, down by 4. You got to remember, yeah, exactly, offensive. Like the Major League Baseball has done a great job with putting, clinics and like programs in those countries like Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and Asian countries, stuff like that as well. Taiwan, Japan, stuff like that. So it makes a lot of sense. But, it also, when it comes down and why there's been a lot more South American or international players is because of the fact that American players are kind of behind the 8 ball because they get drafted, unlike players like, signing international players. They don't have to go through a draft. right? They can get signed, get international pool money, and usually they're a lot more developed because they have top-notch programs in those countries, and college players seem like they take a few years to get ready to go.
Curveball knocked down by Sanchez. Keeps Canada at second base, 1-1.
Yeah, and Mark, we've been talking about that for 3 years about the Mets and how bad Sandy Alderson and Brody Van Wagenen. I mean, if you look at the amount of catchers and shortstops Brody and Sandy Alderson drafted, it's a joke. They have not drafted pitching at all. It's a joke.
1-1 to Lindor. And that curveball bounced back.
Come on, Frankie, let's go. Keep it going. Need base runners. JL, I don't think they get no Otani.
2 runs off for the Mets here in the 8th. As they make some noise late.
Yeah, but Mark, Kumar Rocker is having Tommy John surgery. You can't blame the Mets for that. The guy was basically a damaged arm. I hope they go heavy tonight. In this draft, they got to draft a lot of pitching. You know, they're drafting 32nd. Draft the best pitcher available. That's the way I would do it. We don't need no more position players. Get pitching. Come on, Frankie. Ball outside. Good eye.
Yeah, it's just not comfortable out there. I think you're right, Terry.
Come on, need some base runners. Let's go. And that's a shot at shortstop. Oh, that was almost a disaster for the Padres there. 1 out. Mark, I agree. Again, that goes back to Brody Van Wagenen and Sandy Alderson mostly. They did not draft pitchers when they were high up in the draft. That's the problem. They focus too much on same positions, which makes no sense. Come on, Pete. Get it together. Come on. Alonso is just stepping in the bucket way too quick. He looks like he's guessing there. You know, I understand why the Mets were lacking on pitching drafting since 2017, because look at the rotation. They could have had DeGrom, Matt, Syndergaard, Harvey, all those guys. So they were banking on those guys lasting. Yeah, Alonso's just missing those pitches to hit. Come on, Pete. You know, Pete's got to go back to hitting the ball the other way. He's pulling off for everything. Yeah. Oh, double play. Well, can't do nothing about that. Kind of gets thrown out at second. I thought that was going to be past Bogarts, but that was a nice play by Bogarts. And kind of was just far enough off second base to get caught at second. And the Mets scored 2 runs in that inning, still down by 4, going to the bottom of the 8th. That's unfortunate there. That's something where kind of was trying to get a jump on that ball, trying to score, but that was just a nice play by Bogarts. I thought that was not going to be able to be caught by Bogarts there, but that was a nice play. Well, all those pitchers were on breaking balls. They weren't fastballs. So the Mets get 2 on the board, but still down by 4. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button if you haven't already. Hitting that like button is obviously important because after the stream, a lot of people like to check out parts of the stream during the next couple of days, and usually you get excellent views because of that. And I do appreciate you guys hanging in there on a poor performance by the Mets, let's be honest. So Mets are going to have one more chance to try to get. Hopefully they keep it to 6 and maybe go on a run here in the ninth, but it's not looking pretty, guys. Again, the Mets have multiple opportunities with runners on with less than 2 outs. 2 big double plays, 2 big strikeouts where they could have put some runs on the board and maybe gave themselves more of an easier chance to come back into this ball game. But the offense has struggled the last 2 games. Not shocking that Snell and Musgrove pitched well against the Mets. And the Mets are on the verge here of losing a series against the Padres going into the All-Star break. So let's see if the Mets can keep it to only 6 runs and maybe show some life in the ninth. I thought that was a base hit. I didn't think Bogarts was going to catch that. That was a nice play. He was positioned perfectly. 4 double plays the Mets hit into today.
I don't know if I can fault Canada there. Had a loop on it when it was hit off the bat. It really felt like it was going to be the outfield. It just got hit hard enough by Pete. Just caught off the base just enough.
Well, Joe, yeah, that's true and all, but the Mets did take 6 out of 8 if they lose today. Like, if I would have told you they went 6-2 in the last 8 games prior to that, I don't think anybody would complain. And Nimmo makes a nice catch coming in, 1 out. Yeah, jail. I mean, it probably would be. What do you think you guys need? Bullpen help?
Well, you know, Brandon's got a good read on the ball and plays deep, especially with the power. Gary Sanchez and able to come in and make a really hard play look a lot easier than it was. Drop and roll.
One out here through Benador. Stops the swing, ain't run around. Pitch away, strike 1.
What to do in the box? Look at it.
He's looking for Jose Bautista.
Right cross.
Madura struck out twice and walked today, 0-2.
Absolutely, jail.
Also off that slider from Leon, and it's 0-2.
Leon's really a workhorse. He's has a pretty good year. Yes, he has.
Seattle will lead his career, so with the Giants.
Joe, 100%. You needed Max to come up big here, and he didn't.
The Giants team 2 years
Came up
ago.
small once again in big spot. Again, if the Mets would have scored a little bit, maybe, but I mean, you can't give up 5 runs. Yep, Larissa, 100%.
One down to first, a foul ball. Leon's a good pitch.
Seattle, they just
Michigan State.
And Odor strikes out, 2 outs.
So Leon's got 2 outs in the 8th. 1874. He won the Cy Young recognition in 36 games. He pitched 208 and a third innings. He only 2.42 ERA, 21 saves. 3rd in the MVP ballot that year. This won the Cy Young. And Grisham swings and misses a slider, 0-1.
Then the screwball.
That was his first year with the Dodgers. The year before, he pitched in 92 games with the Expos. He pitched 179 innings in the league. And Red said he's going to get the 9th and 4-1 lead. Josh Hader worked last time.
And Leon strikes out Grisham, and the Mets are getting their last licks here in the top of the ninth, down by 4. Can the Mets show any type of life and make it interested in the ninth? We shall see. Mets trail by 4. Manny Machado, 2 multi-home runs, 3-run homer in the first, and a 2-run homer in the 5th, and the Padres added an extra run in the 6th. Mets showed a little bit of life in the 8th, scoring 2 runs, 2 RBI double for Mark Canha, and the Mets didn't get anything else done in that inning. Let's see if the Mets, they got McNeil, Stewart, and Alvarez, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 5. Sorry, what the hell is it? 5, 6, 7. Excuse me. Coming up in the last licks for the Mets, top of the ninth. See if the Mets show a little bit of signs of life here, and maybe they can make this interesting. If not, the Mets will lose the series against the Padres going into the All-Star break, and we'll go back to 6 games under 500. At the very least, they did not lose ground to the Phillies, who lost the last 2 games of the series against the Marlins. Take that with a grain of salt. But once again, guys, no Shea Bridge show tonight. But tomorrow, Mets Roundtable podcast will happen prior to the Home Run Derby, and I will be live during the Home Run Derby for tomorrow in Seattle at T-Mobile Park. And we'll see if Alonso can win a Home Run Derby and maybe figure out his swing during the Home Run Derby, because if you look at his numbers post All-Star game and post Home Run Derby, it was a lot better. So Mets top of the ninth. We'll have 6, 5, 6, 7. Tom Cosgrove is on the mound, 1.71 ERA. Very good ERA, very good pitcher on the mound. Let's see if the Mets can do something here to try to find a way to get back into this ballgame in the ninth inning. Here we go. McNeil up. 6-2, Padres top 9.
3 hits, including the go-ahead hit by Jeff McNeil. Leads off against him in the 9th. 6-2 San Diego. Cosgrove gets fastball on first strike, nothing wrong. Good rookie year. This is 22nd out. He's doing just 10 hits in 21 innings.
Yeah, he's got good stuff, and he's got a wicked slider.
Neal 1 for 2 today. There's the slider. McNeil pops it on. Shot on the top ground.
And that is 1 out. Alien, I truly believe the same thing you just said. You know what this seems like? This seems like, to me, 2019. They'll go on a pretty good run, get like 1 or 2 games from a wild card spot, and they'll just fall just short. And the April and May, for all the people who don't believe that April and May games mean that much, it comes back to haunt you later in the season. Mets need some base runners here. Come on. Ain't over till the fat lady sings, as they say. Well, Jail, it helped. It helped them to stick around for the most part. But again, if you look at the basically the next 15 games out of the All-Star break, after the Dodgers, they're facing teams that are 500 or below. So they got to take advantage of it. They have it all year. They have to. They have to take advantage of that. You know, they got the White Sox, the Royals. The Red Sox are a little bit over 500. You know, the Dodgers series is going to be tough, obviously. But they got about a 15, 20-game stretch where they're teams that they have to beat. It's just that simple. Stewart pops it up. Should be 2 outs. And it is 2 outs. 1 out to go. Christian, they would have. Yep. Didn't they miss the playoffs, the wild card by like 3 or 4 games? No, Larissa, they're not. But you know what? Maybe it's a turn for the better because they actually been playing better, and they were actually a disaster earlier on in the season when they faced the bad teams. So let's hope that they have to play better. If not, the season's over. Let's be honest. You got to win those series. It's just that simple. See if Alvarez can continue the game here with 2 outs in the ninth, down by 4. Yeah, Christian, see, that sucks. Well, Larissa, yeah. I mean, you would think, right? But who the hell knows with this team? This team is an enigma. Let's be honest. Down to the final strike, and Alvarez hits one foul. I agree, Mark. Snell was basically unhittable. Musgrove, the Mets had runners on. It's not like they didn't have opportunities. They didn't get it done. And, you tip your cap to Musgrove. He got the big outs when he needed them, but he wasn't great. He could have gave up the game. And that hits Alvarez on the leg. Ouch. Ouch.
So the Mets are hit for a 5th time in the game. First time in their history they've ever been hit 5 times in one game. And Joe Goldie, the head athletic trainer, is going to come out and say,
If I'm Buck, I would take Alvarez out here. Just take him out, let him sit down. Thomas, I'm used to it. So they're checking on Alvarez, and it did hit him on the left. Oh, hit him on the shin. Luckily, it was a 86 miles an hour slider and not a 95 miles an hour fastball, but it still hurts. Well, committee, I think they did battle. They had runners on. They just didn't get the big hit. Brett Beatty is up. 2 outs, 1 on. The Mets need a couple more base runners to try to get the tie and run at the plate. Pitching coach is out on the mound to talk to the pitcher.
It's 6-2. We don't want to use Hader. He's going to pitch in the All-Star game. So if you could retire this next hitter, it would be really important for us.
Hader also pitched 3 games in a row Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against the Angels. And then after a couple of days off last night.
Larissa, I do think that I'm gonna tell you right now, I do have a feeling that the home run derby is gonna help Pete Alonso. I just feel like that because it's happened 2 years in a row. Going into the All-Star break 2 years in a row, he went into a little slump. He came out of the home run derby hitting better. So I think let's hope that happens again. Brett Beatty is up. See how he does against the lefty. Ground ball could end the game, and it does. The Mets lose the series 2 out of 3 to the Padres. Padres win game 3, the rubber game, 6-3. The Mets had many opportunities with runners on against Musgrove. Every single time they either struck out or hit into a big double play. So the Mets end the first half losing the series, win 6 go 6-2 in their last 8 games. But the New York Mets lose the series that would have been very nice to win, but they don't lose no ground on the Philadelphia Phillies, who lost the last 2 games to the Marlins. Mets are 42-48, 6 games under 500. So, everybody, just to update you, there is no Shea Bridge show tonight, as there usually is on a Sunday night. So, tune in tomorrow to a Mets Roundtable podcast prior to the Home Run Derby. I'm assuming, I think the Home Run Derby is at 8 o'clock. Let me just double check so I can give you guys a little bit of update. Yes, the Home Run Derby starts at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to get the Mets Roundtable podcast to come on at 6 o'clock. So we'll have an hour show of that prior to the Home Run Derby. And I will be going live during the Home Run Derby. So with that said, Mets lose the rubber game to the San Diego Padres and lose the series. Lose today 6-2. 90 games into the season, the Mets are 42-48. 6 games under 500. 72 games to go in the second half after the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, the Mets come back home to face the Dodgers for 3 games. With that said, everybody have a great rest of your weekend, rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the MLB draft that's going to start very, very shortly. With that said, everybody have a great night. As always, Met fans, let's go Mets. I will see you tomorrow night, guys. Have a great night.
The dream